Cherry Hill Volvo for a full list of extraordinary offers for both new and previously owned Cherry Hill Volvos. Visit us now. We have the inventory and we have competitive offers.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-700-6898. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too. Call 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
Dust off those renovation plans and start designing that new kitchen of your dreams with some help from Colonial Marble and Granite. Colonial Marble and Granite is offering fully installed countertops for just $14.99 or an all-in kitchen for $6,999, including cabinetry, countertops, and sink and faucet package. You heard right, $6,999 all-in kitchen. Stop by a Colonial Marble and Granite area showroom to see their amazing selection of products or make an appointment for a free in-home consultation. Visit colonialmarble.net.
Hey, this is John Ritchie. If you're in the restaurant, hospitality, or casino business and you're not using a PDQ POS system, it's time to make the switch. PDQ POS will not only save you time, effort, and money, but it's the fastest, easiest, and most reliable POS available. That's why PDQ POS has been the top-rated restaurant management system for over 35 years. Whether you have a single location restaurant or thousands of locations, PDQ can help your business succeed. Visit pdqpos.com.
WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. Free speech lives here. It's Kayal and Company on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
And away we go, live on this Thursday, June 8th. It is indeed Kayal and Company here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. We are always live on the free Odyssey app and streaming live for your video viewing pleasure on YouTube. As we head until 10 o'clock this morning, 855-839-1210 is the phone number. Twitter and Instagram, you can get us at 1210 WPHT. Don Stenslin with the news. Greg Stalker, the chairman of the board. Daniel Valdez, Anthony Dorenzo, the associate producers on a fired-up Thursday where we will bring the smoke
I see what you did there.
for the next 4 hours.
I see what you did there.
Hello, Canada. Hello, Delaware Valley. And hello, Dawn Stenslin. How are you?
Turn your mic on, my love.
Oh, boy.
Dawn.
She's waving to you.
I know.
She
I see.
cannot see it.
Daniel.
Oh, boy.
There we go.
Valdez! Is he there?
Wow, what a way to start the show! We start at 6 a.m.
Gregory, how are you?
I'm good, buddy. I'm good.
My mic was on.
There it is. Dawn, they're trying to smoke you out.
I know, they're trying. It's the smoke.
It's it's another witch hunt. Valdez is jogging down the hallway like he's going into right field for a softball game tonight.
Do you think the people who continue to wear masks after COVID was 2.5 years over feel vindicated now? Now they're like, see? See?
No, because some of these particles are so small, even these masks don't work for that either.
I know.
Necessarily.
Yes. Very odd, ominous feeling and look yesterday.
Yeah.
It's like, so this is what it's like to live in California. Smoke and progressive policies. Hello, Pennsylvania. We've turned into Gavin Newsom's little backyard.
Do we know how long? I heard it's supposed to last through the weekend.
It should clear at some point during the weekend.
Oh, boy.
So it looks like today might be the worst of it.
Oh.
And then rain comes through Monday.
Do you get the sense that it feels a little better today? Like this morning when I went outside, I didn't sense it as strong.
No, I think it's worse today than it was yesterday.
Yeah, I do too.
God, yesterday was brutal. Yesterday was significantly worse for me than Tuesday night when I first finally noticed it around 7 o'clock. We got to punch Canada right in the face. How about that for a take? We got a lot of good stuff to get to this morning. Trump indictment looming. Could very well come as soon as this week. RFK Jr.'s profile continues to raise. Fox is alleging that Tucker Carlson has now breached his contract. And so much more as we continue this morning. And also a big take on how Republicans should be ready to cash in on millennials. We'll tell you about that in a few minutes. But right now, Dawn Stensland with the news at 6:06.
And good morning this Thursday morning, June the 8th. We're at 56 degrees right now. So a most wanted armed and dangerous fugitive is now under arrest in Philadelphia. This all started with the fatal shooting of 3 people, including 2 young children who had been playing with kittens in the backyard of their Pennsylvania home. This story making national news as the U.S. Marshals Service says that Ivan Rosero, who's 27, and had multiple priors, was located at a park and taken into custody. That was yesterday. They made that announcement. So these 2 other suspects, including a teen, were arrested shortly after that May 30th slayings in Lebanon, Pennsylvania. Prosecutors said they intend to pursue the death penalty in this case against Rosero as well as the other adult suspects. So the bottom line on this is that these 2 little brothers, Jesus and Sebastian Salome, who were 8 and 9 years old, as well as a 19-year-old, the little kids were just in their backyard playing with a kitten. And the intended target, who was the 19-year-old, that's when these guys, according to authorities, opened fire to get the 19-year-old, and these little 8-year-old children were, 8 and 9-year-old children caught in the crossfire. It was just a horrifying situation. So they've been looking for this guy, found him in Pennypack Park in Philadelphia as a Philadelphia resident. So we have that one going on. He has been on a list of most wanted, armed, and dangerous in our region. Yes, we are under this code red air quality alert. At some point yesterday in the morning, mid-morning, they changed it from orange to red, and we remain in the red in effect for Delaware, Pennsylvania, New Jersey. Code red for Delaware, and then Pennsylvania and New Jersey. We'll see if they change it back to code orange today. We were under code red yesterday.
So the red wave finally came. It just came 8 months later.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then some people say it's actually purple because when you look at all of their maps and so on, it's purple. Mm-hmm. So then there was confusion over that. Are we purple?
Yeah.
And then it's Pride Month. So people, everybody's talking about this. Anyway, it's not a fog. Some people just thought it was a fog.
Who still thinks it's a fog?
I know.
I mean,
can I tell you something? Everybody was, because all the sports practices were getting shut down.
Yeah.
And you've got qualifiers coming up. So this was our life last night. One of the coaches said, the air's fine.
Oh, yeah. Suck it up.
Yeah.
It's up to you, the parents, if you want to go. And people were like, no.
This is nothing. I burn 2 packs of heaters a day.
I was just going to say, back in my day.
Well, we did have one coach. It's up to your discretion.
Somebody posted a picture of the orange, basically sunset with all the smoke and stuff over New York City. And somebody said it's an ominous sign that Donald Trump is looking down over New York.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, the play on the whole orange bit.
So
stay inside, everybody. Stay inside. Well, are they going to give us a stay-at-home warning all weekend?
Yeah.
Like we're children?
Oh, I'm golfing on Saturday morning, so either I'm dying or that smoke has to be gone.
Stay inside.
We still are under these air quality alerts. All right, so the smoke resulted in a first for our Phillies. It was a smoke out, and the first in our team's 140-year history. And so that's why, yes, the game was postponed from last night to tonight. Luckily, tonight was our only night off, so now they're trying to get the game in tonight, 6:05.
The climate nut jobs realized that Zioli rallied the Phillies, so now they started a forest fire to shut down the Phillies' momentum.
I see.
I'm telling you, the left will do anything to screw us over.
Yeah.
What's going to change tonight, though? Because it's gates open there at 4:30 or whatever, and it's a 6:05 game. Is the air quality going to be any better tonight than it was last night?
Well, yesterday we went from orange to red, and now we are for Pennsylvania. We are back to the orange, which is better than the red is the most severe. Mm-hmm. So we're code orange this morning. So
anything above 300 is considered risky, right?
Yeah.
And we were at 417. Allentown was at 451 yesterday.
Yeah.
New York City, they said had the worst air quality in the world, which is pretty bad when you think about all the third world countries, with it was no emission standards.
It was worse than New York after 9/11.
Really?
Yes. That's what they're saying.
Oh, good.
This is crazy. And so yes, it postponed the Phils versus Detroit, and we'll see if they do get the game in this evening. Think about our conversation right now. And just a heads up, if you're headed for Philadelphia International Airport, we do have delays. You want to check on the flights. This is impacting everything, and certainly for school activities. Now, nobody's canceling school, but we did see a lot of after-school and sports activities canceled. So it's impacting events across the region. So we remain, but seriously, be safe. And for those with any kind of a respiratory situation, or if you're pregnant, or if you have asthma, this, could make you force a trip to the hospital.
Eric Adams said yesterday, don't start training for a marathon. Wait for the smoke to clear. Yes, as if people are just going outside. Hey, I think today's a great day to go run 12 miles.
I left here yesterday in the afternoon, and people were running around the city.
Crazy.
So.
Yeah. I think a lot of people just thought, oh, it's just a little fog or it's a little whatever. But there are now 400 wildfires burning in Canada. Mm-hmm. And so we are sending in America, I believe, as many as 600 plus firefighters heading to Canada to help out with that.
How's that one in Jackson, New Jersey doing?
They had it, as of yesterday, they had it more than 70% contained.
Well, that's good.
But you think about those firefighters, they're out there. Now, they should be wearing the full apparatus and everything, but they were out there in the heat, in the smoke, battling those, the fire in Ocean County that you.
I know I can smell it.
Ugh, we can smell it
everywhere.
So T-Mobile Weather Center forecast 78 degrees today, and tomorrow for your Friday 73, cooler and cooler. The cooler weather and the cooler nights, I think, help things out. Saturday we heat back up again. Saturday 81, Sunday 88, and then Monday and Tuesday, thankfully, it looks like we'll have clouds and rain, and the rain is really going to help things. So. They're saying this thing will clear out. The smoke clears out. I don't know that it's going to. I don't know if your golf game, I don't know how that's going to go. I can't forecast that for you, Nick Kayal. But T-Mobile Weather Center forecast says we are heating up again for the weekend. Kayal and Company News Live.
All right, Dawn, thank you very much. 6:12 on this Thursday morning. Let's get to another big take.
The Big Take on Kayal and Company.
The big take this morning, Republicans and millennials, how the GOP needs to cash in on today's movement. In November, Republicans were touting an expected red wave for the 2022 midterms that sadly never came. All we heard was red wave, red wave, red wave. It was more like a pink trickle. It never happened. Sure, the GOP took back the House in narrow fashion, but the Senate is still controlled by Democrats, and despite Joe Biden's historically low polling numbers, many experts doubt that a Republican can take back the White House in 2024. As we mentioned yesterday, and have done so many times on this show, Generation Z is blue. On yesterday's Kayal and Company, we talked about how 30% of Gen Z would be in favor of government-installed cameras in the homes of Americans if it led to more safety, citing protection from domestic violence, abuse, and other illegal activity as the reasons why they would be in favor of this surveillance. Now, there are many traits of today's Gen Zers that do not match up with conservatives and Republicans alike. That doesn't mean that the Republican Party shouldn't try to educate them and sell them on the pros of voting Republican, the policies we favor, and the logic behind it. But it does seem to be an ultra long shot of winning that demo over today in their current state. Here is one clip of a young Gen Z Republican female who joined Fox News right after the midterms, talking about where today's youths get their news and information from. Listen.
As a Gen Zer myself, I can easily say that most of my generation gets our information from social media. Not as much cable news, not as much newspapers, not that many major publications, but a lot of people giving their random opinions on the internet, like Twitter, and for some people, Facebook, I guess, Instagram, and so on. And those institutions lean very left, so I'm not that surprised with the way my generation came out to vote last Tuesday.
The same cannot be said about millennials. Millennials, by definition, were born between 1981 and 1996. I was born in 1984. I'll be 40 years old in a few months. So that makes me one of the older millennials, even though I feel like I align more with the mindset of Generation X. Many of my traits, attitudes, and schools of thought scream Gen X. But the latest data shows us the millennials are moving further right. And there's zero doubt in my mind that the GOP needs every single one of them. When you lose, it's about learning from your mistakes and correcting them so you don't repeat them in the future. The numbers are alarming when it comes to millennials sliding further conservative and further right every year. Here are some figures courtesy of Nate Cohn of the New York Times. The headline reads, "Millennials are not an exception. They've moved to the right. Over the last decade, almost every cohort of voters under 50 has shifted rightward." Nate goes on to say the following: 15 years ago, a new generation of young voters propelled Barack Obama to a decisive victory that ushered in a new era of Democratic dominance. 15 years later, those once young voters aren't so young, and they aren't so quite Democratic anymore. This is exactly my story. At 24, I voted for Obama one time in 2008, as I said when I started this show. But since 2015, I've voted Republican and moved further right and conservative each and every year. In the 2020 presidential election, voters who were 18 to 29 back in 2008 backed Joe Biden by 55% to 43%, according to the estimates. A margin roughly half that of Mr. Obama's 12 years earlier. You see the shift? You see the trend? And the exit polls show it was even closer, with Mr. Biden winning by just 51 to 45 amongst voters who were 18 to 27 in 2008. And last fall, the young voters of 2008, by then 32 to 43 years old, preferred Democratic congressional candidates by just 10 points in a Times Siena poll. This shift towards the right amongst the young voters who propelled Obama to victory 15 years ago is part of a larger pattern. Over the last decade, almost every cohort of voters under 50 has shifted towards the right, based on an analysis of thousands of survey interviews archived at the Roper Center. It's not necessarily a stunning finding. Political folklore has long held that voters become more conservative as they get older, but it is nonetheless at odds with a wave of recent reports or studies suggesting otherwise. The Financial Times, for instance, wrote that millennials are shattering the oldest rule in politics by not moving to the right as they age. Similarly, the Democratic data firm Capitalist found that Democrats essentially haven't lost ground amongst millennials and Gen Z over the last decade. These findings have helped spark a new wave of speculation about whether the long-awaited era of Democratic dominance might this time really be at hand. The shift to the right appears largest amongst the oldest young voters, the older millennials who came of age in a very different political era from today. Many of these issues that drew young voters to the Democrats in 2004 and 2008, like the Iraq War or same-sex marriage, may no longer be issues at all. Republicans may have even reversed their former disadvantage on some issues, whether by sometimes opposing foreign intervention, winning some voters with colorblind messaging on race, or by becoming the anti-establishment party. Nate Cohn, New York Times, that was really telling. It's telling that the GOP, and it's telling us that Republicans were not dead in the water, and they are not the party of the past. In fact, I would advise the Republican Party to really brand themselves and sell themselves as the anti-establishment party. And I don't even know that you need to have the face of the anti-establishment party be somebody like Donald Trump, who is a political outsider. You just need somebody who is willing to slide away from the swamp, go out on a limb, and battle against the bureaucracy and the swamp hacks that have made a lifetime killing of lining their pockets with money on the wave of lies. Perhaps DeSantis can be that guy, because the reality is there's not a tree that is growing today with 5 or 6 outsiders just waiting to be plucked by Republicans. Donald Trump may very well be a once-in-a-lifetime generational rarity, and you might need to come to grips with that fact. Donald Trump won't come around every election cycle. They might not even come around once every generation. It seems pretty obvious to me how Republicans can win in 2024 and moving forward. Gobble up every millennial that is out there waiting to be scooped up by the GOP. Don't completely ignore and negate Gen Z. In 2022, 77% of Gen Z voters, they voted Democrat in the midterm elections to only 23% Republican. Try to chip away at that by appealing to them and finding a way to connect with them. We played you a clip a few moments ago about the sources that Gen Z uses. And those sources are low-hanging fruit with lies and exaggerations and embellishments from a dated playbook. But what's the message they are receiving? Listen to part 2 of another young female college Republican who is a campus reform correspondent, and listen to what she had to say on Fox News after the midterms. Take a listen.
I think that the Republican Party has been labeled a certain way. They've been labeled fascist, transphobic, sexist, racist, and all of these labels have worked against us. I think identity politics has played a huge factor in how the Gen Z demographic has voted in the midterm 2022 elections. And I also think that college campuses have a big part and are extremely influential in how young voters think. I think, as we see on Leadership Institute's campus reform, we see that these students are being indoctrinated and not educated. They're not understanding the basic concept, like the foundational documents or basic economic concepts, to be able to apply them and actually vote for things that are truly important to Americans.
Get your act together when it comes to the Roe v. Wade fallout that cost you in 2022. Find the right candidate and deliver the right message. But the facts are right in front of your face. Anybody from 42 years old down to 26 years old, they're there to vote for you. Those are the millennials today that are there for the taking. Those born between 1981 and 1996, they're growing up, they're maturing, they're buying homes, they're getting married, they're having families, raising their young kids. And while enjoying the moment, they are thinking about the future, especially in this climate of inflation, culture wars, and free speech infringement. The facts don't lie, Republicans. It's there for the taking. What are you prepared to do about it? And that's the big take.
The Big Take on Kayal and Company.
All right, big take this morning. If you want to jump in with your thoughts and reaction, you can do so. 855-839-1210 is the phone number. Twitter and Instagram at 1210WPHT. Or you can jump in on YouTube, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Hit the subscribe, hit the like button, and be a part of the Kayal and Company comment community. We'll come back, get some reaction to that. Also, the big story, it's all just hovering above us. Literally, it's the smoke. And we'll get into that, as well as Trump and RFK, as we continue here in the 6 o'clock hour on Kayal and Company.
Two legends, one can. Jack and Coke, the #1 cocktail in the world, is now available in a can. Yes, it's true. Jack Daniel's Tennessee Whiskey mixed with Coca-Cola or Coca-Cola Zero Sugar are available in a can. And they are now available at your local PA Fine Wine and Good Spirits store. Two legends, one can. Jack and Coke, ready to drink. Go to finewineandgoodspirits.com. Please drink responsibly.
Whiskey Specialty, 7% ABV. Jack Daniel Distillery, Lynchburg, Tennessee. Jack Daniel's and Old No. 7 are registered trademarks of Jack Daniel's Properties, Inc. Coca-Cola is a trademark of the Coca-Cola Company.
You're invited to a private showing of the most important movie you'll see in retirement. The Baby Boomer Dilemma is a groundbreaking documentary from award-winning director Doug Orchard. Throughout the film, Nobel Prize winners, PhDs, and esteemed economists expose the cracks in the financial industry that have 401ks, IRAs, Social Security, and other retirement plans on the brink of collapse. After the movie, you'll receive an education that's unlike any other. Learn how to apply the solutions presented by these experts, which align with and validate our proprietary crash-proof retirement system, proven by over 5,000 consumers. Register for this complimentary screening at Springfield Country Club on June 28th and let Crash Proof Retirement provide you the crucial information you need to avoid the baby boomer dilemma that's on the horizon. Registration is required. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
Hi everyone, this is Stephanie Kelly from Emmons Roofing and Siding, and I have some exciting news to share. Emmons has partnered with SunPower, the top-rated home solar company in New Jersey. SunPower has been leading the solar industry for over 37 years and is the only U.S. solar company that's lasted longer than their 25-year warranty. Kill the bill. The energy bill, that is. Imagine no more high energy bills, while all the while helping reduce your carbon footprint at no cost to you. It's a win-win. Yes, we now offer solar, but remember, if you need a new roof, siding, doors, windows, or interior remodeling, don't wait. Right now, Emmons is offering all 1210 listeners 10% off roofing, siding, and Anderson windows. And we are continuing to offer 12-month same-as cash financing. And don't forget that lifetime warranty on your roof. Give us a call today for a free estimate at 856-885-6677, emmonsroofing.com. Roofing, siding, windows, doors, kitchens, baths, and solar. Trust Emmons to be your first and last stop for all your home improvement needs. emmonsroofing.com.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. You can shed that fat and be slimmer for the summer. No more wearing cover-ups or t-shirts in the pool. NJ Diet will help you the natural way. There are no shots, no hormones, and no surgery. You will lose a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40 plus pounds in only 40 days with NJ Diet. They use your hair, saliva, and blood work along with bioenergetic scans to personalize natural solutions and supplements that get your body into the fat-burning zone so you can finally lose that weight. Then NJ Diet uses DNA info to help you keep it off. Best of all, it's contractually guaranteed. You're fully supervised the entire time to make sure you're burning fat and not just losing water. And you even get the doctor's personal email and phone number, locations in King of Prussia, Cherry Hill, Princeton, and Newark, Delaware, or from home with live online video consultations. 855-5NJ-DIET or schedule your consult today at njdiet.com, njdiet.com.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
Smoke in the air from Canadian wildfires is expected to linger in the region over the next few days. A gunman who killed a man outside of Pat Steaks in South Philly 2 years ago is sentenced to at least 3.5 years in prison. A Philadelphia city councilman offers legislation aimed at stopping stunt drivers from taking over city streets.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
In the Pennsylvania Army National Guard, get a head start on a career in exciting fields, including science, communications, engineering, and medicine, all while earning money for your education. This training will boost your eligibility for a high-paying and rewarding profession, and you can get it all while serving part-time in your community. To learn more about the Pennsylvania Army National Guard, visit nationalguard.com/PA and talk to a recruiter today. Paid for by the Pennsylvania Army National Guard.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing, together millions of things for our planet. Cut up six-pack rings and reduce your use of plastic to keep it out of waterways and oceans. When we each share our one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Calling a Media PA to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
It is 6:29, Kayal and Company, as we get it going here on this Thursday morning. Nick, Dawn, Greg, Talk Radio 1210, WPHT. You can get us on the free Odyssey app. Stream us live, watch us on YouTube. No smoke in the studio, so the video quality should be just the way it always is. Although, I don't know about you guys yesterday. Did you get the sense that you could smell it even when you were in your house yesterday? Because I lit a few scented candles.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the ventilation is in your house, but you can smell it.
Yeah. Okay.
Especially close to windows and
You
stuff.
cannot smell at my house.
You cannot?
Nope.
Chapman Doors and Windows, baby. I saw a couple of screen grabs yesterday with the worst air quality cities. This was around about 4:45. And I guess New York was in the lead, and then they fell off, or maybe they went back on top. But again, they were like given the breakdown of 100 to 150 is the orange level, and then 150 to 200 is red, 200 to 300 is purple, and then you get to like that dark crimson red. Anything 300 plus is hazardous. And at 4:45 yesterday, Allentown, PA, had a air quality rating of 451. Now, New York City was at 413, Scranton, Pennsylvania, 389, and Newark, New Jersey at 332 was the air quality ratings yesterday. And, you mentioned the joke about the mask. I put on the CBS Evening News last night. I was bouncing around from all the different outlets and platforms, and CBS News had one of their live on-site New York City reporters with the skyline and the Hudson in the background, and she had the white KN95 mask on again. And I'm thinking, here we go again with the mask hysteria. And I think I saw something to the effect of Philadelphia for the rest of the school year, with whatever is left on the calendar, they will be reinstituting masks.
Yeah, I don't think that's true.
That's fake news?
Yeah.
Okay, because I thought I saw that from somebody that was pretty credible. But
yeah, no, I think that's...
I was going to, because I thought I saw something that was like, if you don't want to do it, you can go virtual for the remainder of whatever's left. What is it, 2 weeks left?
I haven't seen any like official news reports on that.
Okay.
I saw what you saw on Twitter, but I don't believe it.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. 855-839-1210 is the number. And I was also thinking about this as well, because AOC comes running out of wherever she was, and now Joe Biden is in agreement with AOC that these wildfires are more indications and signs of climate change. And I was thinking about this because the claim from Canada and Trudeau is that these wildfires started for two reasons. One, a bunch of campers did not put out their campfire correctly. And also there was like a lightning strike in one of the forests or whatever. And that sparked some of this wildfire nonsense. But of course, the climate activists are sounding the alarm now that, see, global warming, climate change, here we go again. It's in Canada, it's in California. And now they're just basically using this as, once again, another political, moment to sit there and say, you know what? Yeah, you guys should start taking this more seriously. So.
Yeah, I think there's so much confusion. I mean, is there climate change? Well, I don't know. If you think that the smoke and the weather changed the climate here in Philadelphia, I guess that would be climate change.
Yeah. What constitutes climate change, right?
But I remember when all the paperwork came out about so-called climate change or global warming, what was at the United Nations, and both of my kids at the time were in grade school. We had to write all these papers about it. If you look at it, it's a real thing that the planet will warm a degree or a degree and a half,
of course,
over 100 years or something to that effect.
Yeah.
So it's not something to ignore. Obviously, science is all about theory and looking at that, but to think that, oh boy, this smoke, that we can't see. I took just took a picture of the ball of the sun. It's amazing out there. But to think that, oh, this right here is causing this drastic change.
Yeah.
It just defies the science, actually.
Yes. And it's always amazing how you speak of science, too, how the left will selectively choose when they want to acknowledge science, right? Well, it's a degree warmer over the last 100 years. Science doesn't lie. Roll up your sleeve and get the shot. Science doesn't lie. Trust the science. But you know what? Biological females that now become biological males, no, we'll disregard science. No, biology is science, and you can't get to pick and choose a la carte when you want to believe in science.
Yeah, that's well said. I mean, if you cannot even know the difference between a man and a woman, if you cannot know how to define a woman, right?
Right.
If you cannot look at a woman's body and say, oh, no, that's the same as somebody with the man parts, how in the world can that person be reliable to talk about the planet?
Exactly.
I don't think the planet is, somewhere in here there's a great, old George Carlin joke that we need to re-invoke.
Yes.
But, oh, my goodness.
Uh-huh. And I was just thinking about this as well yesterday. Not trying to be all doom and gloom because I'm not one of those kind of guys. But so we've got fentanyl pouring in from the southern border, smoke from the northern border of Canada. From across the coast, from east to west and back from west to east. We've got spy balloons from China. We're just kind of like an experimental ground right now in the United States. We're like that person that's stuck on an airplane between like the real healthy, well-groomed guy that has to sit between two obnoxiously disgusting people because they're like, not wearing deodorant or they smell like, you know what, and we're just kind of stuck between them in like a sandwich. That's what I feel like we're dealing with right now. Like, it's just like, what is going on in this world right now? Like chaos everywhere. So if you guys have thoughts, any stories, 855-839-1210. It looks like this should clear up in a matter of days. I thought I heard yesterday that yesterday and the early parts of today would be the worst, and it would kind of slowly dwindle away today, and that tomorrow mostly gone, and then by the time you get up Saturday, you won't even know it was here. But that's, I guess,
they were saying that at one point. Now I think it's a changing situation.
Yeah.
Because remember yesterday when we came on, there were 160 fires burning.
Yep.
Now they've got 400 plus fires burning.
Yeah.
And so I think it's obviously it's a fluid situation also with the way the winds are blowing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not being silly here, for real. The way the wind patterns and so on. So all of that matters. I think rain will do us well when we need the rain anyway.
Yeah.
But I know there is a lot of rain in store for Monday and Tuesday. It looks like tonight there's a chance of rain, and they were thinking that might help mitigate.
Yeah. They also said health experts warning that breathing the fog can be the equivalent from a damage standpoint as smoking 22 cigarettes a day, which would essentially be almost one cigarette per hour. And I saw people freaking out over that. I'm thinking back to like my grandparents that were like obsessed with smoking cigarettes. I'm thinking, yeah, if you smoke 22 cigarettes a day for, X amount of years, probably a bad sign. But for a 2-day stretch, this isn't going to kill you. This won't kill you. I mean, as bad as it is, as awful it is, the smell that. I thought I was at my old high school bonfire last night for my Thanksgiving football game.
Yeah.
I tried to go outside and sit outside for, 10 minutes to have a drink, and I'm just like, I'm going back inside.
For people with asthma and breathing conditions, it is tough.
Oh, absolutely.
So we shouldn't,
COPD.
poo-poo that. Yeah, there are people with health risks that.
I'm healthy and I can't stand it. I couldn't go. I went to get gas yesterday, and I had my truck windows up, and I didn't have any air conditioning on or anything.
Your minivan?
My minivan.
Not.
And I was like, you know what? No. I'm getting back inside quickly.
I noticed it with our dog Buddy, who, if you work out the years, he's like 100, and so God bless. He's really healthy, but he's older, and so he went out, and I walked with him, and he was, but he wanted to be outside, but you could tell that he was breathing heavier and that sort of thing. So I always think of people, just don't leave the doggy out too long.
Yeah, exactly.
Seriously, because I think even and for pregnancy, because you think about inflammation, all of that. And I was reading this one article, and it talked about how these particles, they get deeper into your lungs. All these doctors were talking about that. Kind of freaked me out. And they said then your lungs start producing more mucus to get rid of the particles, and then it affects your blood vessels. And I was like, oh my goodness.
We're also getting a lot of pictures. If you want to send us some of your pictures on social media, you can do that as well. Newman Price and Ford F-350 both tweeting us pictures of, the covering of the sun, how it would look distorted last night. Also pictures of some bridges. This looks like the George Washington Bridge yesterday from Newman Price. I mean, they grounded flights yesterday, I believe, at LaGuardia.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was for the entire day or for a substantial amount of hours, but I mean, they weren't even, going up to take off for flights because it was so hazy and foggy, people couldn't see. So
it's weird.
It really is. 855-839-1210. Okay, so Donald Trump, RFK Jr. in the news. We'll start with Trump. As feds inform Trump, he is a target and likely to be indicted as the DOJ rebuffs their prosecutorial misconduct claim. Donald Trump being notified that he is a criminal target and likely to be indicted imminently in a probe into the alleged classified documents. The sources directly familiar with the case told Just the News that DOJ declined to delay the planned indictment of Trump to investigate allegations that a senior prosecutor working on the case tried to influence a key witness by discussing a federal judgeship with the witness lawyer. That allegation is still pending in another case. A historic federal indictment crafted by special counsel Jack Smith could be handed up by a federal grand jury against the 45th president as early as this week, sources are saying. Trump, as we know, already indicted in Manhattan on charges that he falsified business expenses to hide hush money payments to Stormy Daniels. Trump going to Truth yesterday saying, in all caps, "How can DOJ possibly charge me who did nothing wrong when no other presidents were charged, when Joe Biden won't be charged for anything?" Trump wrote on Truth. Only Trump, the greatest witch hunt of all time. Now, here's the other thing that I was thinking, and this is just total hypothetical, but I'm trying to think of the way the DOJ and the feds and the Biden, administration would operate here. So you're going to go ahead with this indictment of Trump on classified documents. I wonder then if, in fact, because James Comer keeps talking about we're getting close, we've got the information, Hunter Biden, Joe Biden, could you see a scenario where in the course of 10 to 14 days, Trump gets indicted, and then legal action is taken against Hunter Biden? And the spin, because it's always about what these people want to tell you and what they want to make you believe, is that we are not playing around with these issues about bribery and classified documents. Trump, see, we indicted Trump. Okay, now we appease the left, even though it's more than just appeasing the left. It's trying to get this guy out of office, because I personally believe if Trump was not running in 2024, all of these weak indictments from Alvin Bragg to Jack Smith to Merrick Garland, I don't think they would be in existence right now, to be honest. But they indict Trump, and then we see something happen to Hunter Biden to see, oh, look, see, we're very neutral. It's the rule of law, baby. Trump, Hunter, don't matter who you are. Current president, past president, the president, son of the president. We're taking this stuff seriously. And we all know that Republicans, conservatives, Trump supporters, they're not going to buy that. But I could see that being the way they try to spin it, because everybody keeps sitting here waiting for something to show up with Hunter. All this evidence is there, right? All these payments, these shell companies, bank records, family members being compensated. I could see it going Trump, Biden, just like that, 1-2. Crazy theory? Am I reading too much into it? Any validity to that? What do we think? 855-839-1210 is the phone number. And then I just want to wrap it up on RFK Jr. This is interesting. So Yahoo has written a piece, and if it comes from, something like Yahoo, relatively mainstream, right? It's your typical, it's right there with Google, right? At least from a search standpoint. RFK's rising profile sparks Democratic jitters. And we've talked a lot about RFK on this show and given you some audio in the cut sheet segment. But Democrats, in this article by Yahoo, Democrats are growing concerned that Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s profile is rising just as President Biden embarks on a challenging campaign to keep the White House out of Republican control. They go on to say Kennedy, an anti-vaccine proponent who launched his primary bid against Joe Biden this spring, has been gaining in the polls and gaining increased media exposure and attention. He has been on a press tour this week that included Twitter Spaces with Elon Musk, as well as a digital town hall with journalist Michael Smerconish. Democrats widely consider Kennedy to be a problematic fringe candidate who freely spreads conspiracy theories, but his relatively decent poll numbers, as well as his media-ready image as an heir to the famous political dynasty, have caused some to worry that he could gain steam and potentially distract from the task of re-electing Joe Biden in 2024.
They should be worried about him. I believe that the Electoral College map is so close that 2% of anything could throw it off and could swing it to another direction. Okay. So if you have people who are on the fence about Biden and Trump, they like Trump's policies on such and such, but they don't like his policies on this. And he tweets and he's always in the news, and I just need to. Could that person then, instead of, I guess I'll just vote for Biden then, could that person then say, I'll vote for RFK Jr.?
We have discussed the fatigue and exhaustion factor of Biden-Trump. And it does feel like, to some extent, America is saying we would like a different option, right?
Yeah, that's if RFK, obviously, if he runs third party.
Correct. And go on to say in this article, quote, Democrats would be foolish to mock or belittle RFK Jr. Every time we make fun of those who hold fringe positions, we lose, said Michael Sarasso, a Democratic strategist and former campaign aide to Bernie Sanders and Mayor Pete. He goes on to say, quote, the Democratic Party acting smug never works.
It doesn't. And when you think you have something in the bag, it's not a good look.
Nope.
And RFK Jr., I think, resonates with a lot of young people. I said that yesterday. The Joe Rogan fans and the Elon Musk fans and those type of people, RFK Jr. resonates with.
Sarasso wraps it up by saying, take RFK seriously. If you don't, we can create a stronger Republican Party that beats us in 2024. Like Bernie did in 2016, RFK has the potential to activate fringe anger if we mock them. End quote.
I mean, yesterday or the day before, we reported that Cornel West is getting into the race. I'm telling you that even though he has no chance of being president, neither does RFK. Zero. Let me repeat that. Zero. They could throw a monkey wrench into either of these candidates easily.
Let me ask the question then. Of all the fringe people on both sides, we all realize this is Joe versus Trump right now. DeSantis in a distant second. Who's going to throw the biggest wrench into the equation? Is it an RFK? Is it a Tim Scott? Is it a Nikki Haley? I won't even mention Christie. Is it Pence? Pence made his speech yesterday. Of all of these people not named Joe, Don, and Ron, who's the biggest impact player here?
I'm not worried about the primaries because neither of them are going to make, Joe Biden will become the nominee if he's on the ballot. That's what I'm saying. But if either of these guys run third party, which they obviously could, that throws a whole new cog on the wheel.
I think it's fascinating.
And then people want to know who's this Doug Burgum from North Dakota, the governor, governor
That's a good
of
question.
North
Who
Dakota.
is it?
Yeah,
Who is Doug? He's got good hair. That's, check. Right?
Yep.
But he's deep red state. People there love him. Conservative guy, wealthy guy who's a popular governor. He's now thrown his hat into the presidential race. I think this is a time when sometimes I think it's like one of those dating shows. Da, 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 now North Dakota governor. We could have fun with it, except that of course our economy stinks. But I just think that seriously, I think that people want to get to know all of these different individuals and who is who's on the stage. And I think what Donald Trump did, in 2016 was that nobody gave him a shot, really.
Right.
And then as it moved on, and I actually think Jeb Bush, I think a lot of Republicans thought, Jeb Bush, it'll probably be Jeb Bush, and so because remember he was the one that was the smarter one that the Bush family actually always thought within their family the stories were, it'll be Jeb, and then George W, really, just within that inside story. So when it was Trump, I think he kind of did show that the process, the conversations that we have right now, it all matters. Americans need to look at the field. What Democrats do is the Democrats, they want to control it more. I remember being here and we were all talking, and Greg Stocker said, and we were in the pandemic, and Greg said, Joe Biden's going to be president. You mark my words. And at that time, I think I was in the same studio as you, Greg. So we must be good. And I was like, you're crazy. This is, but so crazy things happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I thought Greg was out of his mind when he said, you mark my words, Joe Biden's going to be president, just with the pandemic and, with everything that was going on. And the basement campaign. I thought, how could this be? This guy's hiding in his basement.
Yeah.
So the primary process and the media, it all matters. It really does.
Yep.
And that is a lesson learned. And Donald Trump's, journey and rise, and then if you say fall, the fact that he did not win the 2020, and Biden got that with that horrible basement campaign.
Yeah.
and then all the Hunter Biden stuff being hidden and the media being complicit. I mean, think about what we know today. And would it have been different if we knew all of that? So I just think we have to go into it eyes wide open. But for anybody who says, why are they talking about this? It's a year and a half away. Talk about the Jersey Shore, or the smoke, or whatever. I actually think maybe the smoke in the skies, that's a good analogy for what's happening in politics.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
That there's a lot of smoke.
Yep.
And so we have to think clearly and look at these issues and look at every one of these candidates, and then look at how the Democrats, how they fundraise.
Yeah.
And they are so well coordinated. And so Republicans, we say it all the time, they've got to get it together.
Yeah.
They are not as cohesive a group.
Final thought on all of this when it comes to Trump and RFK. Could you just imagine on a debate stage, Trump and RFK Jr.? I mean, think about it from a standpoint of they both believe the deep state is at work. They've both been censored and silenced by social media. They both are on the wrong end of government overreach. I mean, they're in a lot of ways, they've both been attacked in many of the same branches or umbrellas of, the establishment and, big time institutions in this country. Yet here's one that's running as a Democrat and obviously one that's as a Republican. They might actually share more in common than they disagree with, which would lead to like a really bizarre stage performance, because RFK could start talking about the deep state and then Trump's sitting there nodding his head, or Trump's talking about being silenced and RFK's like, yeah, I know what that's like. They won't even let me they won't even give me an Instagram account. I think it'd be wild.
Yeah, I agree. I think RFK, you can have a lot of sympathy for him, for his background, the mental health, past and issues that he's suffered with, and also I think people are interested in him as a Kennedy, what his family has endured, and then the fact that he is somehow an outsider and he's a Kennedy.
Yeah.
And then his wife, Cheryl Haynes, right, who most people know from Larry David, right?
Curb
Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Was the wife on there, and so the fact that he has this celebrity wife, he's a very interesting character. But on a stage, when we think about the economy, so you might like him for every other reason, but when you think about the economy, I think people would trust even Joe Biden, or certainly Trump's record with the economy.
Oh, Trump hands down.
Right?
Yeah.
But I'm just saying Democrats and Republicans who vote the way they vote, I just don't see that this guy has ever proven that he could handle anything with the economy.
Agreed.
Has he?
No. And I don't know that I would trust him when it comes to foreign policy and dealing with Russia, Ukraine. And, Trump says I can end it in 24 hours. So I put much more stock in Trump ending something like that than I would RFK for sure. Trump had these other nations marching to the beat. And all this stuff that's going on now, Russia, Ukraine, China, tensions here, tensions there. That's what just wait till Trump gets in office. It's World War III. And it's not that World War III is going to happen, but all of the buildup for something like that happening under Joe Biden's watch, because everybody else can sense the weakness and they can smell it. And they can also smell the smoke coming from Canada. 855-839-1210, the phone number. Come back. Hour number 2 on the way. Dawn will have some news, and it's bad news once again for Bud Light. In fact, Bud Light could be very soon have their product yanked off the shelves, or at least sent way back into the deep abyss of the cooler. We'll give you those stories and those odds and how their stock continues to crash and burn like a forest fire in Canada. Back after this here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
The cooling experts at Horizon Services Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing made over 20,000 air conditioner repairs last year, and 60% could have been avoided with a Horizon Clean and Inspect tune-up. Prepare for the heat ahead and identify any issues before they lead to larger problems, avoiding costly repairs and lowering cooling bills. Plus, every tune-up is backed by Horizon's industry-leading no-breakdown guarantee. Book at horizoneasybook.com.
Hey, it's quarterback Jalen Hurts and Window Nation's Harley. You know what really hurts?
What's that, Jalen?
Aside from getting sacked by a 300-pound lineman, it's paying too much for new windows. That's why you should call my team, Window Nation.
Get 2 free windows for every 2 windows you buy, plus no payments until 2025. That could save you thousands of dollars.
You know what else hurts? running out of time when you could have scored. So call my friends at Window Nation today at 866-90-NATION or visit online at windownation.com.
You'll make the perfect call for your home.
It was the day we all feared. The stock market went down and then kept going.
2008, when the markets lost over 50% of their value. But that was over a decade ago. Today, it's not so painful. Jim Cipriotti at Retire Ready Financial Group calls that financial amnesia. When you forget the pain of losing half your savings, and more importantly, ignore the fact that it can happen again. A complimentary consultation from Retire Ready Financial Group can show you where you stand now before the next market pullback. You're much closer to retirement than you were in 2008. Don't let it happen again. Call Jim Cipriotti at 610-894-7415 for a complimentary consultation. That's 610-894-7415 or online at retirereadyfg.com. You can forget where you put your keys, your glasses, or even your car. Don't forget to protect your retirement.
Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, NPN number 2083768.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-635-3311. That's 1-800-635-3311. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-635-3311. That's 1-800-635-3311.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
Hi, it's Rich Zioli. I'm joined here today by my friend, the co-president and CEO of Cooper University Healthcare, the one and only Dr. Anthony Mazzarelli. Dr. Maz and I are here to tell you about our buddy, Dr. Mike Veneria. Not only is he my dentist, he's my family's dentist as well. And not sure if you knew this, he's Dr. Maz's dentist too.
That's right, Rich. Dr. Mike Veneria is and has been my dentist also. And you know, doctors choosing doctors, that can be quite a selective process. And not only do I go to him, but for years, my sister and my niece and my nephew, the whole family goes.
Well, it's no secret. We're all delighted by the care that Dr. Mike Veneria and his award-winning team provide, and you need to check him out.
Whether you're looking for pediatric, general, cosmetic, implant dentistry, you don't need to look any further. Dr. Veneria's office does everything. Dr. Veneria's office also exceeds all CDC guidelines and has always maintained the strictest infection control, like their centralized UV sterilization of airflow, which is incredibly important to me.
Locations are right over the bridge in Cinnaminson and Woodbury. Your perfect smile's waiting. Call 856-786-2020 or visit veneriadental.com.
Wells Fargo gives you access to direct deposit funds up to 2 days early.
Plus, if you look at the X and Y axes...
What if everything came 2 days early? Like the weekend.
Well, that was a pleasant surprise.
You can't get everything early, but when it comes to direct deposits, you can with Wells Fargo.
Visit wellsfargo.com/get-early to learn more. Terms and conditions apply. Not all direct deposits are eligible. Early availability is not guaranteed and may vary between deposits from the same payer. Wells Fargo Bank N.A., member FDIC.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
If the market volatility of the past year has made you nervous about your retirement future, you're not alone.
So many people are waiting for the perfect time to retire. And those folks are going to be waiting a really long time, I hate to say, because there's no perfect time. The market is always unpredictable and volatile.
But that doesn't mean that it's hopeless. Jim Cipriotti has been helping people get to, through, and beyond retirement for over 20 years. And each week, he wants to help give you that freedom to retire. Listen to Freedom to Retire with Jim Cipriotti, now on Saturday mornings at 9 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
One of the best ways to extend the life of your air conditioner and prevent breakdowns is an annual check of your system. Oliver's 20-point inspection by a certified technician includes a test of all major operations of your air conditioner. Schedule your appointment for an AC safety inspection by May 31st and pay only $70. And if we find a problem, you'll save $50 on any AC repair. Call Oliver today to schedule your appointment and stay nice and cool all summer. Oliver Heating and Cooling. Peace of mind for your home and business.
Calling on Blackwood to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
Straight up 7 o'clock. Kayal Company as we keep it going here on Thursday morning. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Stream us for free on the Odyssey app. You can watch us on YouTube this morning and each and every morning, actually. YouTube.com/@1210WPHT. Subscribe, like it, and let's get that follower count up. Because Stalker's shooting for 4K.
Yeah, if you're watching right now, hit the like button. Watching right now on YouTube, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Like Nick just said, sorry. Hit the like button right now. Hit it. Hit it. Come on.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's keep it going, baby. Dawn's got some news coming up in just a moment. Fox says that Tucker Carlson committed a breach of his contract by doing his little Twitter show.
Didn't we discuss this yesterday?
Yes, we did.
Yeah,
it's almost like we know how things are going to play out.
It's almost like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dawn's been forecasting and predicting these things, and Stalker, you've been on point with it. Now CNN's Chris Licht apparently shot himself in the foot 5 different ways that led to his dismissal.
Yeah.
We'll get to that story. And also a former Philadelphia Eagle could be on his way to a big-time platform on Fox. We'll tell you about that as well, and some Bud Light stories before we get to what's on the cut sheet. But right now, let's get to Dawn Stensland for round 2 of the news here at 7:01.
And good morning. We are sponsored this morning by Piazza Auto Group. So many health alerts because why? Breathing the air in Philadelphia is hazardous. That's the word today from city officials, health officials, even the EPA on a national level has been sounding off about our air quality here in the Northeast. This as all of the smoke from hundreds of wildfires in Canada are drifting down over our region, the entire Northeast. And so for us in Philadelphia, it's not actually as bad as it is in New York City, but it's quite bad. And that is prompting all of these health alerts for people to think about going outdoors, but rather cancel it, try to go indoors. So the conditions had worsened to the point yesterday that we went to a code red. Right now, as it stands, Delaware is worse as a code red. Pennsylvania and New Jersey back to the code orange. So what is that? What do these color-coded things mean? It simply means that today is slightly better right now in the city of Philadelphia and in Pennsylvania than it was yesterday.
But what does this mean for Joe with his weekend getaway? Does he leave the nation's capital to go to Delaware for the weekend? What if the smoke is too much for Joe?
I think that's a great question because I suspect no matter what, they're going to keep him inside. Mm-hmm. But I doubt if they're under the red, the most hazardous air quality, I doubt, they're going to, is he going to go to Delaware? That's a great question.
What if you have plans to go to the Jersey Shore on Saturday? Just asking for a friend. Would you go?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would. I'm not. I think, sir, I'm not. I'll just be honest. Maybe I shouldn't say this because maybe I shouldn't go out, but I'm not affected by it. I was doing yard work yesterday. I was perfectly fine. I don't know maybe I'm just so polluted.
Dog's out there cutting your grass. Like, this is great.
But the dog I've noticed
while 3 strapping men are inside watching her, waving to mom.
And I'm like, you boys stay inside.
Oh my Lord.
Larry's inside with a mask on. Dog's out there mowing the lawn.
It's weird though. I don't know why. I just think, and that's just it. That they're warning people if you go out and you have a little trouble breathing or start coughing, or maybe your eyes really start watering and running, or even if your dog, if that happens, they're giving all those warning signs.
Yeah.
to say that you might not immediately realize this is impacting you, but you got to know all the warning signs.
I wonder if it is different at the shore because, at least from a Delaware standpoint, I was talking to my wife's uncle last night, and her aunt and uncle live at Rehoboth Beach. And he was like, yeah, we can see it. We can tell the quality of the air's down, but we don't smell anything.
Oh,
yeah.
Interesting.
Which is odd because I'm like, so you're telling me, he goes, yeah, we just took a 2-mile walk earlier this afternoon and we could see the air the visibility, the quality is terrible, but we don't smell anything. I don't know if it's just because of the winds coming off of the shore or whatever it might be, but I don't know if that would apply to Delaware, to New Jersey, but that's what I was told from Delaware, so.
It all comes down right now to filtration. I know that they were selling out of all the HEPA air filters. And for us, I don't know if you remember this, Greg, but I had a sponsor at a mechanical and got a new HVAC system. Yep. And now I look like a genius because I had gotten this April Air whole house filtration system. And Larry was like, really? And I said, no, this is what this is what the astronauts have. We don't smell it in our house.
That's awesome.
So I do think the filtration does matter. And then you know how you always, if you go to Pep Boys or somebody and they go, oh, you need a new air filter in your vehicle. So when you recirculate the air, and I always go, okay, change the filter. I'm one of those I'm pro filter.
Well, I don't blame you. When you go for like the quick oil change and they pull the filter out and they show it to you, like, hey, do you want this? $9 more. I'm like, wow, that's pretty awful. Yeah, go ahead, do it.
Newman Price on YouTube says 2 weeks to slow the smog.
Tony Fauci says, and by the way, too, I don't ever want to hear about pollution and stuff and air quality from my gas stove and all my other appliances that they want to take away from climate change.
Yes.
This right here is
look at this.
Don't tell me about my stove anymore.
Well said. It's crazy.
Losers.
Don't take away my stove.
Exactly.
It's the new Braveheart, right? Yes. All right. Other news of the day. I told you about this most wanted armed and dangerous fugitive now in custody, found at Pennypack Park. And in Philadelphia Park, they caught this guy. U.S. Marshals Service caught up with, they say, 27-year-old Ivan Rosero, wanted for the murder of 3 individuals, a 19-year-old, as well as the shooting of 2 little boys, 8 and 9 years old, in Lebanon, Pennsylvania. This happened as the little boys were playing with a kitten in their own backyard, and that stray gunfire, as this guy just allegedly was spraying the gunfire, shooting at another intended target, and struck down these little children, 8 and 9 years old. So this guy is in custody, and now prosecutors in Pennsylvania, they're saying they are going to seek the death penalty in this case, as these sweet little children were just gunned down. As we move forward today, I will just point out to you in national news that the House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer did announce last night that the FBI, he said the word, quote, caved, will allow each member of the panel the chance to review the informant file held by the Bureau that accuses President Biden of a $5 million bribery scheme while he was then vice president under then President Obama. So that was a headline from last night. That battle has been going back and forth. As far as our Phillies, I should normally be giving you a score this morning, but because of all the smog and the health, safety, hazardous air breathing alerts that we are experiencing, they actually postponed last night's game to tonight. We'll see if we get it in amid the continued, continued smoke out.
I'll tell you what, Dawn, if the Phillies lose tonight and their momentum got squashed by the smoke out, blame Trudeau.
Yes, with his bad eyebrows.
He owes this city and this baseball fan base an apology.
Yeah, baby. Well, one family that loves our Phillies and always roots for the Phils and all of us, Piazza Auto Group. Shop the entire Mazda crossover and SUVs lineup at Piazza Mazda of Westchester and Reading. The 2023 Mazda CX-5, CX-9, CX-30, and the CX-50, they're all available for immediate delivery. So find yours, PiazzaMazda.com, Piazza, PiazzaMazda.com. T-Mobile Weather Center forecast. Yes, the smoke out continues in Philadelphia with these smoky, hazy skies from those hundreds of Canada wildfires, but we still will reach 77 degrees today. we're looking for maybe a few showers. There's a chance, and we're hoping for showers to move through, cooling things down for tomorrow for your Friday, substantially cooler as we look to a high of 72 degrees for tomorrow, for Friday, actually 73 degrees. And then we heat back up for the weekend, 81 Saturday, Sunday 88. And then we are looking for rain and clouds come Monday and Tuesday as we question when will the smoke blow out of Philadelphia and the region, the tri-state region. That's the T-Mobile Weather Center forecast. Kayal Company News Live.
All right, Dawn, thank you very much. 855-839-1210, the phone number. Mike Opelka just sent me a text. He says, I've got a 1:40 tea time today, mask or no mask.
Well, if you look at the meteorologists on TV right now, Good Morning America just had a meteorologist. They have the big N95 masks on.
Yeah.
It's double, you know.
Double layered.
Yeah, double layered. So.
Okay.
Some people were in hardware stores trying to find, the kind of mask that you wear for construction projects.
Yes.
Because they're made for all the different particle sizes.
Oh, yeah.
That's brilliant.
Okay. Yeah. How do they work against COVID?
Probably great.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not being sarcastic. I'm wondering, like, if those masks would have actually been better than what everybody, claimed the masks for COVID would have done. Because those are hardcore, big time.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that they would have been great but now I guess they're hard to find.
Short-term symptoms: coughing, nose, eye irritation, sore, scratchy throat, headaches, shortness of breath.
The only thing
they love to scare the
of course they do
S out of you, don't they?
They would love nothing more to reinstate mandates again.
Oh my God, the fear porn!
It never ends.
Wall-to-wall coverage.
Yes.
What will we do?
It's like the media didn't learn their lesson from the overkill of COVID coverage, right?
Yeah.
I mean, does CNN have like a smog counter up right now on their screens? 32 people have perished in Canada. The numbers keep on the uptick. Good God.
You wonder if back in the day when they had this kind of situation, nobody even, they thought, oh, look at it, it's really smoggy and foggy out. You wonder if the reporting and knowing all of this, does it make it worse?
Yeah, it's a good point. As the reporter takes off his mask to light up a Pall Mall. So Bud Light, speaking of getting smoked, they're getting crushed. And this is going to go down as perhaps the biggest bloodbath for a company and the fallout of going super left and getting woke. Their sales continue to get crushed, and the latest data is damning. Now, more sales data is pouring in, and it's absolutely brutal. Bud Light sales are down 23.9% on a dollar basis for the week ending May 27th compared to last year at this time, according to Nielsen IQ data. Also, their stock price, how about this? Anheuser-Busch's stock price before the market opened on Wednesday was $54.93 a share. That's a 17.7% decline from $66.73 per share prior to the Dylan Mulvaney March Madness promo at the start of April. And it's not just bad for Anheuser-Busch, because Bud Light is just getting crushed as maybe the greatest example of challenging, your core customer and ticking off conservatives. Now the reports are that Bud Light, since it's not flying off the shelves for sales, is going to get taken off the shelves or at least put way in the back of those big walk-in cooler displays. So we have a former Anheuser-Busch executive who is now sounding the alarm this week in the wake of these terrible sales numbers. And he had this following quote, this was yesterday, to the Daily Mail. Quote, retailers generally take sales data from April, May, June, and July, and then base off of that with the data in that time period as to how they reallocate their shelf spaces.
Absolutely.
Like, this is peak beer buying season, right?
Absolutely it is.
April, May, June, July, and then, I don't know, maybe
August.
Yeah, football season.
Yep.
Right? So they're saying now that the shelf space, based on these sales, according to this guy, his name is Anson Fredericks, that shelf space will be allocated for Miller Lite, Coors Light, Yuengling, and some of the other brands that have taken that share away from Bud Light, which, quote, that almost permanently then locks in this as the new norm of where their sales will be and what their share of the beer category will be. He also points out that Modelo is on pace to surpass Bud Light as the world's #1 beer brand after Bud Light saw a 26% decrease in sales last week alone. While Bud Light is down, Modelo saw an increase in sales by 9.2% for the week ending May 20th. So you combine all of this together, and some of these experts, including this former executive for Anheuser-Busch, says this is a big reset in the retail beer industry, and Bud Light could soon head to the back of the cooler in stores across the U.S., which I never thought I would see, because when you walk into those big coolers, whether it's at the old school distributorship or now in the grocery stores, since they've got the licenses to sell beer, right there you always see Budweiser, Bud Light, and Miller.
I got to say, placement matters, too.
Oh, absolutely.
I go into a beer distributor and I have an idea what I want to get, but like if I see something that piques my interest, I'm like,
yeah,
sure.
Oh, placement really matters. Like, think about when you walk into a grocery store. How many times you have purchased something that was right there before you go down to the produce aisle or whatever aisle 1 is at your grocery store?
Yep.
That if it was just in a random aisle, you might never even thought about.
Exactly. Yep.
I'm just saying wherever the Bud Light is. I told you we were at that concert. I just feel like they replaced a biological guy with me, and I take it personally. I take it personally. And I've never been like this in my life, and I'm not really about bands, but it just is such a turnoff to me. And then my husband and I got into it because he was so thirsty at that concert.
Yeah,
he was
said
like,
that.
He's like, the CEO of Bud Light apologized. Larry just wanted a beer. I'm like, you're not going to buy a Bud Light.
Yes.
And he's like, he apologized. It wasn't his fault. I'm like, it's his company. He should have known.
Yeah.
Like,
you don't
dude,
have no
you're
excuse.
accountable.
Right. Well, we didn't know the ad agency was going to take us down this road. Well, you employed and hired that ad agency to cater to a niche community that doesn't drink your product.
Yeah, and you insulted women. So I'm not. So I don't care about the placement.
Yes.
I'm just not buying it. I don't care if it's the only beer walking around and I'm parched. I'm not going to buy it.
Good for you. Good for you. Like I said, the only time I will drink it is if it's free and it's the only option. Like at my fantasy football draft. If that's what they're giving us, it's either that or water. If I want a beer, I'll probably drink it. I'm not buying it. Nope.
Just put it in a Miller Lite bottle.
Yeah.
Just dump one out and pour it in there.
Yeah,
Exactly. 855-839-1210. Coming up next, Tucker Carlson. Did he breach his contract with Fox? And speaking of Fox, are they ready to land a former Eagle with Skip Bayless? Little media talk when we come back here on Kayal and Company. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
If you're hiring, it can feel like trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. Like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Now try ZipRecruiter free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/FREE.
Look through your children's eyes to see the true magic of a forest. It's a storybook world for them. You look and see a tree. They see the wrinkled face of a wizard with arms outstretched to the sky. They see treasure in pebbles. They see a windy path that could lead to adventure. And they see you, their fearless guide through this fascinating world.
Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. June means Men's Health Month for Rescue Natural Supplements. We all know how demanding life can be. When juggling work, family, and personal commitments, you need energy and optimal health. So fear not, because Rescue Men's Health Supplements are here for you. For the month of June, save 50% on the products that guys need most. That's half off on testosterone boosters, prostate support, and more. Discover the amazing benefits of Rescue Natural Male, Prime RX, Super Prostate. No code is needed to get 50% off. Just call a Rescue Product Consultant, 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483, or shop online by visiting res-q.com. res-q.com. It's not just your physical health. Men's supplements can help your mental well-being too. Again, no code is needed to get 50% off on Rescue Men's Health Favorites. Shop res-q.com today, res-q.com.
Chronic pain, cancer, fatigue. Find out about the benefits of medical hydration therapy on Health Watch with Dr. Molly Fantasia every Sunday morning at 8 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Tune in to Crash Proof Retirement Show, Saturdays at 11 a.m. to hear Phil Cannella and Joanne Small. The Crash Proof Retirement Show, Saturday mornings at 11 on Talk Radio 1210.
Lose weight and feel great with NJ Diet. NJ Diet uses DNA and blood work to help you lose weight and keep it off. Tune into the radio show Sunday at 2 or visit njdiet.com.
At Cherry Hill Volvo, Costco members have a $2,500 incentive on the purchase or lease of an electric Volvo. There is a $1,000 incentive on all gas and hybrid 2023 models. Explore this safe and versatile 2023 XC90 and take advantage of special financing, a rate of under 5%. Visit Cherry Hill Volvo for a full list of extraordinary offers for both new and previously owned Cherry Hill Volvos. Visit us now. We have the inventory and we have competitive offers.
Phillies baseball is in full swing.
It's a 3-run home run for Alec Bohm and a 6 RBI night.
With the free Odyssey app, local fans can listen live all summer long, whether you're at the grill or at the pool.
The ball bobbled. The Phillies win. Bryson Stott has won it.
Phillies baseball. Phillies announcers. Streaming live on the free Odyssey app. AUDACY. Get in the game and download it today.
I'm not even mad that I've never experienced that so-called brotherly love you all brag about here in Philly. I wouldn't expect that being a huge rival and all.
That's football legend and all-time rushing leader Emmitt Smith.
Even though we've been on different sides of the field, I'm still going to extend some kindness to you folks and tell you all about a way to get relief from that awful joint pain without surgery or harmful medications. That's QC Kinetics.
They're the nation's leader in regenerative treatments that go right to the source of your pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, or back, using your natural healing properties right in the office. No downtime to get you the relief you deserve.
See, we're all in this together when it comes to getting relief from that nagging joint pain. I'm glad I can show you some brotherly love, Philly.
Call QC Kinetics today.
Call QC Kinetics. 215-999-3000. That's 215-999-3000. 215-999-3000.
Dom Giordano at noon. Caitlyn Company now on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Company, Thursday morning. Hopefully all of you having a great start to your day, whether you're on your way to work or staying home and working remotely today to avoid the smoke. We appreciate you, however you may be consuming us. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, the free Odyssey app, watching us live on YouTube, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. What's on the cut sheet coming up in just over 20 minutes. Also, Tucker Carlson in the news yet again. And also, speaking of Fox, before we get to the Fox News story with Tucker, Fox Sports apparently getting close to promoting and elevating former Eagles running back LaShawn McCoy, Shady McCoy, great running back during the end of the Andy Reid era, to be the possible co-host of Fox's, their number one sports debate show. I don't even know what they call it anymore, to be honest, but with Skip Bayless.
Undisputed?
Undisputed, that's what it is. And they said Nick Kayal was the sports guy. Sports with Stalker. We should do that as a bit every day.
I mean, I love Shady McCoy, but that show will be on. I mean, it's unwatchable now, but it'll even be more unwatchable with those two.
A lot of people are saying it would be painful because apparently LaShawn McCoy's good kind of, in bits and pieces as a guest for 10 minutes, but they don't think that he's really polished enough to pull off a full show, which, I've never really watched him enough to give an honest assessment. I just view it from the standpoint of getting a former Eagle next to that cowboy apologist weasel, Skip Bayless. Like, I'd give it a week. I'd give it a week and just see how it pans out. I think it'd be pretty interesting until they start fighting, and because I guess Shannon Sharp basically is quitting because he can't stand working. And we talked about Skip Bayless back when the DeMar Hamlin story happened, and how Skip Bayless, he wanted to have the opinion of, the show must go on, and he showed no empathy for a guy that legitimately flatlined on a football field.
Yep.
And he was outraged that his Monday Night Football entertainment got ruined because somebody died and they had to stop the game. So I thought that was pretty interesting. We'll see how that plays out.
I will say this, though. They probably hired him, or did they hire him, or they're thinking about hiring him?
Well, he's already an employee. Like, he's been on other shows.
Yeah.
But I think they're wondering if, he's ready for this moment because it's the big spot.
The name Shady and Skip does have a ring to it.
Yeah.
It actually sounds like a radio show.
Yeah, I love how all these radio consultants come up with ideas for shows, and it's based on the names of the people, not the talent of the individual. It's like, hey, let's go with a show, and let's call it, Mike and Mitch, and we'll just put up a little graphic with 2 M's. That'll really catch on with the audience. Good God. Speaking of catching on with the audience, it didn't take long for Tucker Carlson to catch on with his audience with Twitter. Well over 63 million views the last I looked at the debut episode of Tucker on Twitter, which we talked about and gave you some of the clips yesterday on the Cut Sheet segment. And, Dawn, you nailed this. You were all over it, talking about breach of contract, and we were pontificating yesterday. Well, okay, he's doing the show, but is he able to get compensated for it? What is he going to violate? Who's going to be mad? And it didn't take long. Axios coming out with a story yesterday saying that Fox News is claiming that Tucker Carlson has breached his contract. Which, look, as somebody that's been in these situations before, when you lose a job and you're told, we don't want you anymore, we don't value you anymore, but we don't want you to talk for 90 days or 6 months. I've always found that a little hypocritical. Like, a talent can be discarded, but no talking, no shows, the whole fit, and I get it, contracts getting paid, the whole bit, but I'm always pro talent in these cases.
Well, and the courts have always been so. In other words, they took this person off the air, and reportedly it was a shock. When he left on Friday, he thought he would be back on Monday, etc. And so the courts have been quite clear on this, that if you take somebody, out of a job situation, and you cannot deny them future work, and even with the non-compete clauses, when they are challenged, they lose. So usually it's another company that doesn't want to violate the non-compete because they're setting a precedent for themselves.
Yes.
But in this case, the guy, his lawyers can say, well, wait a minute. He's allowed to basically, for free, go out there and audition, if you will, for another job. And so by just producing something for free and exercising his freedom of speech and putting it on a public platform, he is essentially auditioning for a future job because you guys took him off the air.
Right.
So that's the back argument on this. They of course are doing everything they can because they know they're going to pay. It's just how much are you going to pay? Because he's still under contract.
Correct. It was to the end of 2025 or the end of 2024, because we were talking about, and we had this discussion when he was first let go, and we were having fun with, take the summer off. It's a slow time, blah, 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 because there's no way that Tucker Carlson is going to sit out the 2024 presidential election cycle. Like, if you're in this line of work that we do, next year, calendar-wise, is like the Super Bowl.
A lot of places will say if you want the rest of your money that you're owed, you have to, sit out for whatever it is, however long that contract is, or they could agree on a time frame. But that time frame certainly isn't 2 months.
Right.
That time frame is probably more like, I would guess
6?
they met somewhere in the middle and maybe did a year.
Oh.
It depends, but for him, he wasn't taking another job. He didn't show up on another. I mean, he posted something for free and gave an opinion on Twitter.
Which is what we said yesterday. He was not being compensated for it, so therefore it wasn't a job, quote unquote.
Right.
So I think he played it brilliantly. And by the way, Fox is dumb for going after him.
Hey, you're only going to make it worse for you.
You are. Just let him be.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Just oh my Lord.
People are already not watching you at 8 o'clock, and now you're going to, because you got rid of their boy. And now you're going to make it worse for you because you're going to keep playing hardball with a guy who's doing a 10-minute monologue on Twitter. And, oh, by the way, it probably doesn't feel great if you're Fox because you're saying, all right, I got 1.9 million views in this spot. And, wait, he got 63 million.
When is Mr. Taekwondo supposed to take over at 8 p.m.? Do we know?
Who's Mr. Taekwondo?
Sean Hannity.
Oh, I don't know when that goes into effect. That's what's going to happen, but I don't think that's have they given us a date?
I don't think so.
Yeah, with that new, apparently revamped lineup that they're going to do. I'll tell you what, and if I'm Hannity, I mean, I guess you take it. I don't know what his mindset is, but I just wouldn't want to be the guy that goes into that spot.
Well, that's why I think they were wise to just scooch people around. And so for Hannity to be earlier, they're just kind of scooching people around and playing around with time slots.
The old scooch.
Yeah, the scooch.
Oh, scoocheroo.
So technically, the person replacing Tucker will technically be at a different time slot.
Yeah.
So I think they're trying to just mitigate the situation. But I think what Carlson did with getting all those views just was, kind of a middle finger to Fox to go, while your ratings fall, I can just spout off a little 10-minute piece and look at what I can do. But as far as those attorneys, I wonder who leaked what. Because I know the Fox News attorneys because they're obviously discussing with Tucker's agent and they're in a negotiation.
Sure.
Who leaked it? That's what I want to know. Did Fox News leak it or did Tucker's team leak it?
I would say Tucker's team leaked it.
And that would be telling.
It's PR move, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
But Tucker's lawyers have just said the good old freedom of speech.
Yes. Fox's lawyers saying, quote, in connection with such breach and pursuant to the agreement, Fox expressly reserves all rights and remedies which are available to it at law or equity. Tucker's lawyers say the following, quote, Fox defends its very existence on freedom of speech grounds. Now they want to take Tucker Carlson's right to speak freely away from him because he took to social media to share his thoughts on current events.
Yep.
That is according to Brian Friedman, his attorney. So, there you go.
So
that.
he gets the last laugh on that one, but then it's probably a pretty nasty negotiation, don't you think?
Oh, of course.
It's pretty tense.
A lot of egos there.
Yeah, and
a lot of money.
That's a lot of money, tens of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And also Tucker Carlson saying his attorneys are probably putting out there, hey, you damaged our client.
True.
You damaged, you took him off the air and you damaged him and threatening other lawsuits. So it's probably, these are some high-powered attorneys. It's probably pretty tense and pretty nasty.
Like to get the cut of that check that those lawyers get. Damn, I should have stayed in law school.
How much do they charge?
Yeah, really.
Right. Some of them, $1,000 an hour. The agent usually gets a percentage.
Wow, $1,000 an hour.
New York attorneys, sure.
Yeah, it's the same rate Stalker gets. 855-839-1210. We'll come back, work our way towards what's on the cut sheet. More of the fallout from Chris Licht being licked when it comes to his role at CNN. That's coming up next here on Kayal & Company, Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
This is Larry Steinhaus of Investor Schooling. I am so proud to announce the continuing success of our students at Investor Schooling. You already know that at Investor Schooling, we teach real estate investing and stock options. Did you also know that we teach things about tax savings, estate planning, and business coaching as well? We teach things about money I bet you never knew. At Investor Schooling, we teach from the perspective of true experience. If you want to see what our students think about Investor Schooling, please check out the over 160 5-star Google reviews. To find out more about how you can change your financial life, go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829, and you can attend a complimentary class this Thursday at 7 p.m. Attend that class and see for yourself what Investor Schooling is all about. Go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829. We can't wait to see you this Thursday.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. It's hot weather season, but imagine your house always being cool and comfortable no matter how hot it is outside. The sad truth is 7 out of 10 homes are poorly insulated. Is yours? Here's some of the telltale signs. Is your house too hot? Does your AC have to run almost non-stop to keep it cool? Do you have different temperatures on different floors or in different rooms? Are your power bills too high? I had these exact issues, and I decided I wasn't going to just live with it, nor did I want to move to a new house. My solution? USA Premium Foam Insulation. My house became instantly comfortable, and my electric bill went down substantially. It's been a wonderful, wonderful improvement to my home. If you want a cool, comfortable home with lower power bills, give USA Insulation a call at 1-800-USA-FOAM. If you call now, when they foam your walls, they'll insulate your attic for free. 1-800-USA-FOAM. Again, free attic insulation when they foam your walls. USAinsulation.net.
USA Insulation.
The Dudette Dental Group is the official dentist for the Philadelphia Eagles and would love to care for you. The Eagles trust Dr. D and his team, and you can too. With 30 area locations, the Dudette Dental Group provides specialized care like dental implants, root canal therapy, fillings, and more. During the off-season, take care of your smile and get ready to cheer on our team. Dudette Dental Group accepts all major dental insurances and has preseason specials on whitening and cosmetic dentistry. Visit PhiladelphiaEaglesDentist.com. Comedian Joe Conklin.
Joel as Mr. Softy.
A creamiest, dreamiest soft ice cream. It comes from Mr. Softy. Melts in a biggest spot like me. They call me Mr. Softy. Almost run out of breath. Ice cream makes me tired.
See Joe Conklin with the City Rhythm Orchestra, July 15th in Ocean City, New Jersey, and July 22nd in North Wildwood. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. JoeConklin.com!
The day we all feared. The stock market went down and then kept going.
2008, when the markets lost over 50% of their value. But that was over a decade ago. Today, it's not so painful. Jim Cipriotti at Retire Ready Financial Group calls that financial amnesia. When you forget the pain of losing half your savings, and more importantly, ignore the fact that it can happen again. A complimentary consultation from Retire Ready Financial Group can show you where you stand now before the next market pullback. You're much closer to retirement than you were in 2008. Don't let it happen again. Call Jim Cipriotti at 610-894-7415 for a complimentary consultation. That's 610-894-7415 or online at retirereadyfg.com. You can forget where you put your keys, your glasses, or even your car. Don't forget to protect your retirement. Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, NPN number 2083768.
Hurts, gives it off, and keeps it, and rolls down to the 2, and is he in? Yes! He let it go, and it's intercepted. It's picked up by Josh Sweat. 15, 10, 5, touchdown, Josh Sweat! Deep down the far side, and it is A.J. Brown again! Another touchdown! He steps up, he's hit, he fumbles the football, but I think he has it. Nope. Now the Eagles have it! That'll be the game! He breaks away at the 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Miles Sanders, touchdown! Wow. He is firing the football, and it is caught by Devontae Smith! Great catch! Attention, air traffic control. A flock of Eagles is heading to Arizona.
Sweet memories. Last season was so much fun, and I believe this season will be even better. If you want your business to be part of this season's Eagles Radio Network highlight reel, email advertise@94wip.com for information. More great action is quickly approaching.
Hey, neighbor, what you up to?
Just getting the groundwork done to put in my new patio.
Oh, cool. Did you contact Pennsylvania One Call System to check for underground utilities first?
Nah, there's nothing but dirt back here.
Whoa, hey, man, are you okay?
Hey, did you guys lose power too? Love that new hair color, Bill.
Yeah, your hair's totally white now.
Maybe I should contact Pennsylvania One Call.
Well, that's the smartest thing you've said all day.
Know what's below. Contact 811 before you dig, or visit pa1call.org to submit a locate request to have underground utilities marked.
Hey, Collegeville, tell your smart speaker to play 1210 WPHT.
Kayal Company, 738. Thursday morning. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Big Dawn and Greg as we head till 10 o'clock this morning. What's on the cut sheet coming up in just about 6 minutes. Also still ahead this morning, a couple of stories in the world of education. Conservatives at a university are now being forced to pay the tab after left-wingers riot at a college. We'll give you that story. Third, fourth, and fifth graders now being shown pride videos in class. Parents not happy about that, rightfully so. And also, Howard Stern will not give up his battle against Caitlyn Jenner. That story and the audio to come later this morning. But before we get to what's on the cut sheet, just kind of wrapping up some of the media coverage that we've been talking about for the last 15 minutes or so. Chris Licht yesterday, we got the news about him stepping down from CNN, stepping down being up for debate, I would say. More like guy got fired after 13 months because everything he did didn't work and was wrong. Like, I don't know, taking Don Lemon from his, lowly rated 9 p.m. show and sticking him in a morning slot with two girls that he doesn't get along with and getting no ratings there as well. And then, of course, going to the Atlantic and being, asked a bunch of questions about the inside meltdown of CNN. Like, if you're a boss at a network, and you're struggling terribly, I would avoid media hits and requests where they say, "Hey, we'd like to do this feature on you, and maybe you could give us some inside information as to why it's so bad over there."
Well, the allegedly, according to Page 6 at least, the PR team that okayed that article being written about Chris Licht, they've been fired as well. So,
is it the same PR team that said Dylan Mulvaney makes sense for you at Bud Light?
I don't know. Look, obviously, I understand why Tim Alberta and The Atlantic wanted the story. It was the hottest news story around at the time. I do question CNN's reasoning because obviously they're not going to – Chris Licht didn't make that call himself.
No, of course not.
You know what I mean? Like when somebody comes to me or to you, Nick, or to Dawn and says, "Hey, we want to do an interview piece on you. You guys have to talk to me. I have to talk to David Yadgroff." Like it's a whole process that has to go on. There's a PR person that needs to be involved. So he didn't make this decision himself. Yeah. I'm just questioning the PR team that allowed it to happen.
Mm-hmm. And to be honest, I'm not trying to pound away on Chris Licht. It's really not his fault. I mean, these are the pieces that were in place. Your job was to try to figure it out, and sometimes you can move all the pieces around all you want, but it's still the same pieces. It's still the same failing personalities. And now this story says internally, top CNN anchors, including Jake Tapper and Anderson Cooper, were voicing their concerns over Licht's management, according to a report from the Wall Street Journal. And, say what you want about Jake Tapper or Anderson Cooper. I mean, I think Anderson Cooper is atrocious, and Jake Tapper is just not my kind of guy, but they've been there a long time. They've made a ton of money. They have a lot of power. And when those high-profile guys don't have your back, so to speak, you're probably not going to last too long, right? Like, the players need to like the coach.
It's not just about that, though.
Right.
It's basically the swamp. So CNN, think of it, seriously. And think of the news business as and you have these individuals entrenched, not just the people you see, the faces that you just mentioned, Anderson Cooper. We talked about Tucker Carlson's agent. So some of these agents and the attorneys and those who work within CNN, there's a whole bureaucracy that you have. And they all go to the same cocktail parties and drink their, you know what I mean, with their black turtlenecks and mock turtleneck, whatever.
They're elitist society.
They are elitist.
Yes.
But they all are part of that swamp. And they were all against Chris Licht. And I think he underestimated that. The person who's stepping up, who I've met, I've actually interviewed with her before back in the day, is Amy Antelis. So she worked for ABC News during the Peter Jennings days, highly respected.
Yeah, she has a huge track record.
Yes.
Yeah.
She is very experienced, highly respected, and you won't see her making these missteps.
And she's been at CNN longer than I believe Zucker I mean, because she was there, I think, if this is the lady I'm thinking of, she's been there since 2012.
Yeah, with talent and acquisition. That was her job back in the day with ABC. But she's well known and highly respected in the industry.
She tried to hire me a few years ago. I turned her down. Said, no, you're not getting me. No, I'm just kidding.
The reports are that Variety, I think, reported that they're gonna clean house over there.
Yeah,
they should, because like I said, it doesn't matter if you can stick Don Lemon from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. You can take Jake Tapper from 4 p.m. and put him at 7 p.m. It's not going to change. And right now they're looking up at MSNBC and like, wow, they do it way better than we do.
Yeah.
And again, I think Dawn has said it. If you just get back to what made you great 25, 30 years ago, you'd probably carve out a nice little niche for yourself, and maybe you would draw, level with MSNBC by offering an alternative.
Well, guys, I don't know about you, but they're gonna turn things around, because last night they had a town hall with Mike Pence.
Oh, that's got to move the needle, right? It's got to be a ratings.
Did he have
bonanza.
a fly in his hair?
Oh my God! Oh my
Remember
God!
that?
Dozens of people tuned in to watch that on CNN.
Was he getting in people's faces like Chris Christie was?
He was not. He was not.
All right, that's interesting. Maybe he makes an appearance on a cut sheet at some point today. 7:45. Let's get to it right on time.
What's
I knew where I was going for
the cut sheet?
What's on the cut sheet on this Thursday is brought to you by our good friends at Cherry Hill Volvo, where they have ample inventory of brand new and beautiful pre-owned Volvos. Enjoy the luxury experience you deserve. They always go the extra mile for their customers, because relationships matter at Cherry Hill Volvo. Check them out on Route 70 in Cherry Hill Volvo, where relationships matter. Tell them you heard about us. You heard about them on Kayal and Company. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. By the way, if you're watching right now on YouTube, please hit the like button. Only at 63 likes. I'm going to get up to 100 likes on today's program.
Yeah.
So if you're watching right now, please hit the like button.
Yes. Do it now.
Yes. Mike Pence held a Mike Pence town hall last night on CNN. Dana Bash was the moderator.
Oh boy. That's must-see television. Bash and Pence.
Yeah. Well, actually, let me start. No, I'll start. I'm true to my word. I will start with the CNN town hall stuff. She asked about January 6th.
Oh, that's got to be the first question for every Republican, right?
It was one of the first questions.
Good God.
She brings up the fact that Donald Trump, on the same town hall hosted by CNN, said that he would consider pardoning some of the January 6th prisoners. Dana Bash asked if he would consider that as well. This is cut 11, boys.
The Constitution of the United States.
Sir, on that, Donald Trump says he is, quote, inclined to pardon many members of the mob who attacked the Capitol on January 6th. Those people were, of course, part of the same mob who built gallows and chanted about wanting to hang you. Would you consider pardoning any of them?
What an uncomfortable question, by the way.
So they wanted to execute you. Would you have a cocktail with them? God.
Your comment, please, Mr. Pence.
You know, on the day of January 6th, I issued a tweet demanding that people leave the Capitol and end the violence. And I said that those that fail to do that should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. And I continue to believe that today. We cannot ever allow what happened on January 6th to happen again in the heart of our democracy. And I'll stand by the decisions and the due process of court in our laws. And I have no interest or no intention of pardoning those that assaulted police officers or vandalized our Capitol. They need to be answerable to the law.
You know, it's amazing to me when we think about the power of Trump and what loyalty means to Donald Trump. And we've heard, well, DeSantis is not showing his loyalty by running against the guy that put him on the map. If we were to rank the disloyalty of DeSantis versus Pence and ask Trump voters who is more disloyal, I would be willing to bet 99 out of 100 people would say Pence, far less loyal than DeSantis, if we're going to, think about who's loyal to who and not. But did you notice that there in the beginning? And I only noticed this on the January 6th questions because I believe Dana asked multiple ones on that front.
Yes, we have another one actually.
Is he like sounding like he's getting choked up? Like, did he sound emotional, or is that...
He's very methodical in what he says.
I didn't know if the mic was overly sensitive, just picking up his breathing, but it sounded like he was uncomfortable.
It's also the way he talks. He speaks sometimes like a preacher does, where he sounds very affected. And I'm not mocking Mike Pence, so don't think that I'm mocking him, but he does have that affected voice where he sounds like he's a preacher.
Yeah.
By the way, Bubba45 wins YouTube comments today. He says, we're watching Mike Pence. This is the biggest audience he's ever had.
Yes.
Well put.
Yes.
We have more people watching right now on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/@1210WPHT, than watched last night on CNN.
And speaking of that, if we're keeping track now, Republican town halls on CNN, Trump and Caitlyn Collins, that was one.
Yep.
Nikki Haley, Jake Tapper on Sunday, that was 2. And now Dana Bash and Mike Pence, 3.
Yep.
So Scott and DeSantis should be on deck soon, you would think.
You would think.
But maybe they've said no.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
I think CNN would love to have them, but I think CNN this is good.
I agree.
The fact that they're doing these, and you may say it's boring, Bubba, or whatever, but I'm just saying this is appropriate. Interview every candidate, give them equal time, be professional.
Well, let me ask you guys this then. Does RFK then deserve a platform on CNN?
Absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. How about that not Doug Emhoff? Who's that low energy North Dakota
I don't
governor?
think he's low energy.
Okay.
Hey,
nobody's heard of him.
They have energy in the Dakotas.
Doug Burgum. Has anybody heard of Doug Burgum? Doug Burgum's family hasn't even heard of Doug Burgum.
Doug Burgum's mom doesn't even know that Doug Burgum's alive.
Because we can't get off the January 6th thing,
right?
Dana Bash also asked about pardoning Trump. If the former president is convicted of a crime.
Sir, if Donald Trump is convicted of a crime and you're elected president, would you pardon him?
Well, I don't want to speak about hypotheticals. I'm not sure I'm going to be elected president of the United States.
Yeah, you're not.
But I believe we have a fighting chance. I believe we do.
Yeah. And if you are?
And I would hope, again, Dana, you're as persistent as ever. CNN is living up to its reputation.
Oh.
But look, there are real issues the American people are facing. Rather than talking about that, I want to talk about what the people here in Iowa are talking about, which is the failed policies of the Biden administration. And the need for us to have new leadership in the White House.
Yeah.
Nice little pivot by Mr. Pence. Puts it back on her, puts it back on the network, doing what that network always does, living in the past. But, hey, if you think 2% means a fighting chance, more power to you, Mike Pence.
Yeah, I like all these hypothetical questions about if you become president. It's like he's not going to become president.
But the number one rule that a politician especially never answers when you're coaching somebody, never answer a hypothetical.
Mm-hmm.
Never.
Well, that was a fabulous answer, and he pivoted back to what the people of Iowa wanted to talk about. It was a masterful answer by Mike Pence. He's a great politician.
He says, you know what? Leave the hypotheticals to the talk show hosts.
Exactly.
That's what we do here.
Exactly. But do you hear in his voice the affectedness of, like, he almost sounds like Jimmy Swaggart, I have sinned,
Is there a little Bill Clinton or Bush to his delivery as well?
Yeah, look, they're all skilled politicians, they know.
Well, he started out as a radio host.
That's true. That's true, yeah.
Mike Pence. Yep.
Should get him and Alec Baldwin together. He could teach Alec Baldwin how to do a show.
Actually, Pence, Pence had a far more a lucrative career than, in radio. Alec Baldwin doing just fine. As far as money goes. Yeah. This is surprising to me. So we've debated on this show about the money and the military resources being sent to Ukraine, whether that's a good thing or not. That's been debated. Mike Pence criticizes Joe Biden on Ukraine, but not for what you guys think. Listen to this. This is cut 10, Daniel.
Okay.
approach here. Now, I want to say President Joe Biden has been slow in providing military resources to Ukraine.
What?
I mean, they promised 33 Abrams tanks back in January. They're still waiting on them. We're waiting on F-16s to be transferred from somewhere.
Almost sounds like he would be doing more for Ukraine than Joe is.
That's exactly what that sounds like.
Which is Joe's just giving blank checks to Zelensky. So Pence would be doing far more?
I've seen a lot of criticism from the Biden administration, which I think is warranted, on what we're doing for Ukraine. I have not seen criticism of people saying we're not doing enough.
Right. And you heard Nikki Haley on Sunday, and she was, saying this is about more than just standing for Ukraine and protecting Ukraine. It's about protecting our interests and our national security. You're starting to get a lot of these, I don't know if it's a lot because I just mentioned Haley and now Pence, but a lot of Republicans that are all of a sudden very pro-Ukraine. It's an odd dynamic, isn't it?
I think his point is it has been approved, and the actual dissemination of what has been approved is what is slow.
Okay.
I believe. So I believe he's speaking about things that have already been passed, approved.
Mm-hmm.
Congress gave the nod, signed off. So what's going on? Why is this so slow?
Well, in typical Biden fashion, everything is methodical, slow, and deliberate, right? Tripping over things.
I don't know. He sounds to me like he's part of that neocon wing that just wants war at any time. Loves it.
It's a fair point.
Loves profiting from it. Okay. I digress.
I get your point.
One more clip from Mike Pence because I don't want people to drive off the blue roof.
Right.
The
smoke is already making people a little loopy.
People are sleepy, and we're not helping them at all by playing all these Mike Pence cuts. He announced yesterday that he was going to run for president, and the big topic that everybody has, at least on the GOP side, is about him overturning the 2020 election. And would he have done it or not, and should he have done it or not? He addresses that when he made his announcement yesterday.
Okay.
My son, the Marine, once reminded me, you took the same oath I took, Dad. So I did. So let me explain. Article 2, Section 1 of the Constitution provides that the President of the Senate, the Vice President,
take your time, Mike,
shall, in the presence of the Senate and the House, open all the certificates, and the votes shall be counted.
Shall.
No more, no less. Despite the fact that the Constitution's language is clear and provides the Vice President with no authority to reject or return electoral votes, my former running mate continues to insist that I had the right to overturn the election. But President Trump was wrong then, and he's wrong now. I will always believe, by God's grace, I did my duty that day. I kept my oath to ensure the peaceful transfer of power under the Constitution of the United States of America.
Greg, if I ever deliver a big take at that pace, shoot me in the head. Because I'll have killed my audience by going that deliberately slow.
But doesn't this put the Liz Cheney crew and the progressive Democrats who hailed him, as was he not on January 6th, was Pence not a victim? He was standing up for democracy. And so now they come out and they bash him and say bad things, but which side is it? What do they choose? Right?
Yes. It's an excellent point. And you can just tell. Now, that was 3 clips on stuff that is 3 years old. They two things here. Number one, CNN just can't let go of the past. They're not even really getting into the issues that truly matter. And the same thing with Pence. It's when I hear him speak, you're right. There is that preacher element to him, the religious aspect. But he sits there and he doesn't even say Trump's name. He's my running mate, my prior running mate. Like, dude, you're getting ran over right now. Just run over. Just bow out. You got no shot.
Always use front.
I know.
Always.
I can't run right now because the smog.
That's right. Don't run. No heavy breathing.
Exactly right.
Yeah, but he's still talking about the past.
He is.
And so it's the same problem we see. We're all over it. We're done with it. We're exhausted. The pandemic.
Yeah.
Think of Philadelphia. You talked about masks. Philadelphia school kids were still wearing masks in January of this year.
Yeah.
We're all exhausted from the past. And so he still is representing the baggage of the past.
Yes.
And the question I'll ask him, well, what would he do for the economy?
Yes.
What are his economic policies?
That's got to be the number one thing.
Yeah.
How can you make my life financially better? Yep. That's what we all want to know.
Yes.
Be forward thinking with it, not reactionary and going back down memory lane. Nobody cares anymore about that stuff.
Did you guys see this fight that broke out outside of a school board meeting in Glendale, California? This is wild.
I did.
This is wild. And apparently it's Antifa, that there was parents there protesting, and Antifa came who don't really have kids in the school. They just wanted to start a fight there.
That's crazy.
This is you can hear the audio. It's a really short clip, but this is more of a visual. So go to youtube.com/@1210WPHT if you want to see the visual of this. But you can hear it, too, if you're listening right now in your car. Antifa brawling with parents who are protesting the school board's push to incorporate LGBTQI plus material into the curriculum. This is how the fight sounded. What's funny is the person on the bullhorn trying to make peace during all of this. This is a cut 3, Daniel. Do not get violent. Use your words. Do not get violent.
Yes. This is classic Antifa. You've got a bunch of punks that come from out of the area that are not residents of that community. They don't live in that city.
Yep.
They've got zero responsibilities to the community that they disrupt. They go in, they ruffle feathers, and then at the end of the day, the national media runs with it, and they don't, go after the Antifa nut jobs that cause these issues. They go after the other people, the conservatives or anybody on the other side that Antifa is attempting to provoke. They're nothing but a bunch of radical provocateurs.
This is the cut that this is the video clip that you were trying to play there, Daniel. I apologize for that. That was my fault. I didn't spell this out too well for him. This is a Glendale School District, California teacher who got up to the podium during one of these school board meetings and said 95% of kids will know they are trans when they are 3, 4, or 5 years old.
Yeah.
This is a teacher, by the way. This is a Glendale, California teacher. Cut 6 here.
Hi, my name is Adina. Yes, and I called your name, yes? Yes, go for it. Yes, I'm a teacher in the district. I also teach in LUSD. I have 2 students in the district. I did intervention at Fremont, but I'm also a community member who volunteers extensively in Watts in South LA, and I work at the Children's Hospital Los Angeles with queer and trans youth in large groups. And so I deal with a lot of their trauma related to the heteronormative, Judeo-Christian, patriarchal, imperialist, capitalist system that oppresses them. And so,
oh, wow. Did you hear all of that?
Wow. My head exploded.
Somebody teaching our youth. We continue.
Critical race theory. I'm not just here in support of our LGBTQ youth. It's all connected. I'm in support of critical race theory and diversity, inclusion, equity training, because white people participated, for example, in the largest social welfare program in the history of the United States, and yet now they throw their hands up in the air when we look at our housing crisis. And Armenians talk about the genocide, but they received SSI, but they don't want to talk about the indigenous genocide of 1850 and the lack of reparations for black and indigenous people in this country. And they don't want to talk about how dare you as marginalized people come here and you don't want to talk about the oppressed trans youth who, your kids aren't even learning what they need to learn in this. That 1 in 2 will commit attempt suicide, and 95% know that they are trans when they are 3, 4, and 5 years old.
Wow.
If you're watching on YouTube, she's got a cowboy hat on, a black T-shirt, looks like almost like a whitish type of jeans or denim on, tucked in the cowboy boots. Another person with another mental breakdown. God almighty. 95% of trans people know they're trans at 3, 4, or 5 years old.
Where did you get that statistic from? Please
I would love to know.
inform
Yeah,
me.
where's that science?
Trying to find it.
Yeah. So you're 3 years old, You probably haven't even really figured out how to master picking your nose. Yet you can all of a sudden pick your gender and know you're in the wrong gender in the wrong body.
Yep.
Okay. So like when I was 3 or 4, I was sitting in a high chair eating SpaghettiOs, getting sauce all over my face. But now the modern toddler can sit there and say and really know that I know that I was born a male, but damn it, they screwed up at the factory. I'm a girl.
My son is going to be 3 at the end of the month, and he still can't master pronouns as he shouldn't be able to. He calls, hey, look at her or something, and it's a guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He doesn't know the difference yet.
Yeah, I can't figure out when to use run versus ran. and these toddlers at 4 know what their identity is. Give me a break.
Speaking of RFK Jr., he went to the southern border. Remember, we played that clip yesterday of him saying that he wants to go to the southern border. He wants to also seal the border. So he did. He took Instagram Live yesterday at the southern border and basically called it a humanitarian crisis.
Whoa!
This is cut 2, Daniel.
This is a humanitarian crisis because of the understanding across the globe that we now have an open border here. There are people being drawn here. They're being abused. There's all kinds of just horrific, terrible, terrible stories. And this is not a good thing for our country. It's not a good thing for these people. And it is unsustainable.
All right, so 2 takeaways. One, it took RFK Jr. 1 visit at the southern border to say the word crisis, where after 2.5 years, Alejandro Mayorkas has refused to use the word crisis. That's takeaway number 1. And takeaway number 2, I actually have figured out now, it just dawned on me, no pun intended there, Don, that we don't need a wall to reject people coming into this country illegally. We should just park RFK Jr. there permanently and give him a megaphone.
No,
and as he keeps talking, they're like, you know what, on second thought, let's stay in
That's
Mexico.
not right. That's not
This is
right.
not where we want to be. Do you hear that, man? That's a deterrent.
Chris Christie, speaking of deterrents.
Speaking of no audience.
We needed, we played him yesterday announcing in New Hampshire that he was running for president. In the Republican field where there's, I think, 37 people running right now or something. He sat down with Jake Tapper yesterday, and I don't know if you guys saw this. If you're watching right now on YouTube, you can see the video. I'm going to play cut 1 here, Daniel. Trump on, I guess it was Truth or something, had mocked Chris Christie's announcement with him announcing, and he put like a buffet in front of him, and he was holding a tray. So Jake Tapper, very uncomfortably, played it for him.
Oh boy.
So Chris Christie was looking at it as he was saying, so he's attacking your weight. What do you say about that? It's a very funny visual. Here is Chris Christie on with Jake Tapper, cut 1.
So Trump, last night in response to you running, ran a rather mocking video on social media. But there it is. It's you. I guess he's making fun of your weight. That's his. That's his response. What did you make of that?
Come on, that is hysterical.
So good. Epic troll job by Trump.
He's standing in front of a buffet, holding a plate as he's making the announcement.
Is that all like breakfast meats that he has there? What is that?
It does look like it.
I'm Chris Christie, and we have the meats.
I know it's juvenile, but it's hysterical.
Yes, it's politics. It's dirty. It's juvenile. It's sophomoric, and I love it.
And by the way, if you're not laughing at that, like Trump did what he wanted to do there.
Yes. And, you know, the irony of all of it is Trump doesn't classify as a featherweight by any stretch.
Yep.
Yeah, Trump's carrying some baggage as well.
But not as much as
Oh,
Chris
no,
Christie.
of course not, no.
Daniel, I'm going to start the video over because I want to see it again because it's too damn funny.
So Trump, last night in response to you running, ran a rather mocking video on social media. But there it is. It's you. I guess he's making fun of your weight.
I guess he's making fun of your weight.
And they superimpose as if Christie has like a not just a buffet in front of him, but in his right hand, sort of showing how holding a platter.
He's holding the platter too, like an elite waiter at a high-end restaurant.
Like, and then the insinuation is, I got to eat this.
Who had the shrimp cocktail?
But, the truth is, this can be a moment, if you're a candidate, where you relate to most of the country.
Yes.
And it can be a relatable, very funny moment if you laugh at it as the candidate and say, we've all been through the pandemic. Admittedly, I gained my fair share or whatever. I've struggled with this.
Well, he does. He does say that.
He took advantage of the freshman 15. There's no doubt.
Yeah. He does say that, he has struggled with. Well, let me play the rest of it.
Can we isolate the picture of him on the YouTube video where he's sitting at the desk with, was it Jake Tapper?
Yeah.
I'd really like to isolate that just from a visual standpoint from our YouTube audience, because if you look at the way he's sitting and how he's put together physically, he just goes from head to pouch. Like there's no other anatomy to Chris Christie.
So how many of us have said, "Oh, it's not my BMI, it's that I should be taller."
Daniel just did a freeze frame.
Yeah, look at his pants. His waistline is 6 inches above the desk, and his dress shirt is like. It's just like he's like, some people are, they have no neck, they're just head and shoulders.
Yeah.
Chris Christie goes from like head to pouch.
He does. Yeah, there's a word for that
Humpty Dumpty.
I'm not comfortable saying on the air, but it is. There's a phrase that we use for what he has, but I'm not going to say it. All right, we continue. I'm going to continue, Daniel, where we left off.
Pear-shaped.
Yeah. No, there's a better one, but it's very obscene, and I can't say it.
What do you make of that? What was your response to that?
When I saw Jake, I just renewed in my own mind what a child he is. He's a baby. Whenever you want to criticize him,
exactly. That's the thing. He's tapping into it's the old Howard Stern.
It is.
It's the old Howard Stern thing. Is that you may not admit to laughing about it, but everybody's laughing at it.
Yep. Yeah.
Everybody's laughing at it.
He's got big Trump envy. There's no doubt about it.
Yes.
And what's amazing about all of this is no matter what you want to talk about, it's the moderators for these debates keep bringing up January 6th and, all the election stuff and all that other stuff. And then when they get away from that stuff specifically, they still find a way to make it about Trump. It's like these candidates can't get out of the shadow that is Trump. Like Trump just hovers above the whole party, where it's like you want to, even if you think you have a great plan for the economy and immigration and this and that, it's almost irrelevant. It's like you just better be ready to deal with the big elephant, and that's Trump.
Or Christie.
Ken
John on YouTube, you are correct with what I'm thinking, but there's a G in front of it, not B. So if you're watching right now on YouTube, look at Ken John's comment, because that's exactly what I was thinking. Okay, we continue.
That's the way he responds. And you and I are both lucky enough to be parents. And if we had a child who conducted themselves like that, we'd send them to their room, not to the White House.
Yeah.
And I think character is destiny for this country. And we've got to make a decision about what the character of the person should be who sits behind the desk in the Oval Office. And if they're going to do that kind of stuff, I mean, it doesn't even, it's so childish. It's so juvenile. He is such a spoiled baby that, beyond that, what can you even say about something like that that's that ridiculous? If we want to break news here today, I've struggled with my weight for about 20 years, like tens of millions of Americans.
The devil, you said.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So he's breaking news there. He's telling people something they don't know. In the end, for me, it's about how you perform as a person.
Yeah.
What kind of heart you have. And I'll put mine up against his any day in the week.
Yeah.
If you're coaching candidates, let's just go from that school of thought, and somebody had written in the comments section about, must be nice to make fun of so and so, but Trump isn't thin. That's the point. He isn't a thin person and never talks about this, but he is poking fun at somebody who has admitted he had the surgery. That moment for Chris Christie is what Chris Christie should have led with. That moment, it's very sympathetic because everybody, especially post-pandemic, we're wearing our yoga pants and everybody can relate to, or 90% of Americans of all ages.
Yeah.
So that was a relatable moment, and that's a moment where you go, oh, he's right. And that does sting.
Trek 200 on YouTube says it must be nice to be thin, Nick, Dawn, and Greg, and not fat shame. Look, I mean,
I'm not thin.
We're not. I'm not. I could lose 5. Like, we could all lose some weight. I'm obviously not speaking about Dawn. She looks gorgeous. But
No, I could too. We all.
The boys on the show could lose some weight. It's fine.
Well, no, Valdez can't.
Well, no.
He loses any more, he's going to be anemic.
It's not.
Daniel, don't listen to that.
It's not about that. It's about being able to laugh at stuff like that.
Of course.
He obviously knows he's fat.
Yeah, and Dawn makes a great point about this moment here for Christie and how he handles it well, and that's great. But, at the end of the day, when it comes to politics for me, Chris Christie can sit there and say, I'll put my heart up against it, and I'm a better... Honestly, truth be told, when it comes to politics, I'm the same with sports. I don't care if you're a good person. I don't. I want you to win. I want you to get results.
I think people care. I'm
saying me. I don't care if you're a scumbag. If you, that's why I don't bang on Trump I don't care what he tweets. I don't care that he was with Stormy Daniels. If you make my life better with policy, if the economy...
Excuse me, I was watching the Shark Show.
Yes. I could have had more than just Stormy, all right? Could have had a pick of the bunch. Anyone, they all love Trump. But, I want you to win for me. I want you to represent me. I want you to make my 401k better. I want gas prices better. I want inflation lower, unemployment lower. Like, I look for results. So I don't get into the who's a better human being thing. It's politics. I don't care about that stuff. But that's just me. But if that's a rallying cry for Chris Christie and that's what he needs to go from 1% to 2%, there's his moment.
Well,
yeah, I think that I was going from the angle of evaluating it. If I were advising Chris Christie as a media coach, I would say at that moment laugh a little and say you know what, I can laugh at myself.
Mm-hmm.
I can, what I would coach somebody to say is, if you're that candidate, say, I can laugh at that. I can laugh at the silliness and the childish way of that, even though fat shaming at the end of the day is a mean thing to do. But okay, I'll laugh about it.
It's hysterical.
One of the funniest bits Howard Stern ever did was when he did the Channel 9 show. And he used to have Richard Simmons on all the time. And Richard Simmons used to do those
aerobics,
sweating to the oldies. He used to have these obese people that used to work out. Howard Stern brought one on one time and had a fishing pole with a roasted chicken on it and dangled it in front of the fat guy's face while he was trying to do aerobics. But that brings out the childishness of all of us.
Yes.
By the way, we'll get back to Christie in 1 second. Anthony on Twitter says Mike Pence is only placed in the running to real-time fact-check President Trump on the questions about J6 and the election, taking the pressure off of the hosts. What do you guys think about that?
Interesting theory.
Yeah.
I think Pence has to run.
Why, though?
Because, we talked about the fact that these guys all have egos. There's a sense of, they have to have a sense of narcissism, and that just exists within this level of individual.
Yes.
So, as a matter of fact, Pence at one point kind of admitted in that sound clip, and that showed some humility, that maybe he won't become president.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he out of all of them faces those odds. But I think if you're going for it, you can't admit that. But I think for Pence, this is it. This is his shot to get out his story. He's also selling a book.
Of course, everybody is, right?
And he also is setting forth a place in the next administration.
Yep.
So I think that they're all hopeful that, let's say their strategy, they're all thinking, okay, if it's DeSantis or if it's Trump, whose administration will I get in? Yeah. And how do I play the field?
Yeah. It's, everybody has a YouTube page now, and everybody has a blog and a podcast, and everybody's got a book deal these days as well. Sharon says on Twitter, Trump has a great sense of humor. He brings fun back into politics. And I totally agree with that. I think Trump is the best thing that's ever happened to the media from a political standpoint when it comes to covering politics. But I would say this, too, as well, with Trump when it comes to making jokes about Chris Christie's weight and stuff like that. Like, when you're Trump, you've got skins on the wall. You pulled off one of the most miraculous upsets of all time. You defeated Hillary Clinton. Your first 3 years pre-COVID, everything was going really well from a policy standpoint, from an economy standpoint. There was peace. Dawn, you always say it, peace and prosperity. So he's built up enough accomplishments where even, and look, he'd probably be sophomoric like this even before he was president. He's always been a great soundbite. But when you pull off victories and you rack up wins, you're able to go down this road. The guys that don't rack up the wins that pull this stunt, nobody's going to buy it because you didn't accomplish anything. Right. You get a lot more leeway, and I know he doesn't get any leeway from the mainstream media, but with me, you get far more leeway when you've got skins on the wall, so to speak.
Going back to Chris Christie with Jake Tapper. Jake Tapper actually asked a very good question, one that we've been asking ourselves. He says, basically, you placed 10th in Iowa. What is going to make this year different?
Yeah.
It's a very good question by Jake Tapper. This is cut 14, Daniel.
So you're running for president. You just declared last night.
Yes, sir.
You're joining what's a pretty crowded field, surprisingly, considering there's a former president in it as well. Now, right now, you're polling in the low single digits. I know you haven't even been in the race for a day. But in 2016, you placed 10th in Iowa, 6th in New Hampshire before getting out of the race. What is going to make this year different?
Nothing.
Well, the whole atmosphere is different, Jake. In 2015 and 16, when we ran the first time, you had a situation where Donald Trump had no record to speak of. He had been on a TV show, had been a private developer in New York. There was no way to really make the case against him. And I think all of us, myself, Jeb Bush, Marco Rubio, John Kasich, Ted Cruz, all found it very difficult to make the case because he could say whatever he wanted to say. There's no proof point to prove that he couldn't do it. So I'm going to build a wall across the entire border of Mexico, and Mexico's going to pay for it. Well, I didn't think he was going to be able to do that, physically figure out a way to do it. But how can you prove that he wouldn't? This is different. Today, we know he said he would build a wall across the entire border of Mexico. He didn't do it. About a quarter of the wall is built. He said Mexico would pay for it. We haven't gotten our first peso. And we know a lot of other things. Said he was going to repeal and replace Obamacare. He had a Republican Congress for 2 years, didn't get it done. Said he was going to balance the budget in 4 years, left with the greatest deficit of any president in modern history. Said he was going to get rid of the national debt in 8 years and left it trillions higher than when he walked in the door in just 4 years. There is a record here, Jake, on things both very, very significant on public policy, but even on the trivial. Remember, he used to go after Barack Obama for playing golf. And I remember standing on one of the debate stages one time, and he looked in the camera and said, I will not play golf a day because I'll be so busy fixing all of America's problems. And he wound up playing golf for 260 days. So on promises both big and small, he broke them. He disappointed our party. He disappointed the country. And that's going to be the focus of this campaign.
God, I would love to play golf 260 days a year. Only Mike Opelka and Trump can play that much golf. No, here's the thing, too. When I'm watching this here on the YouTube channel, and you listen to him from an audio standpoint, there's just zero charisma to this guy. The delivery just doesn't...
I disagree. I think he's very charismatic.
Yeah.
Compared to who?
Well, compared to Mike Pence.
Well,
but I mean,
God.
I think, actually, if you want my honest opinion, out of everybody running, the two most charismatic are Trump and Christie, even on the Democratic side.
I don't know. It's just, I feel like I'm listening to a litigator in a courtroom, and I know he's got a legal background, but I'm just like, it doesn't move the needle for me at all.
Yeah.
I think on the debate stage, he is in play.
Yes, I agree.
And talking about, picking away scabs, he knows right now that talking about the border wall, that's Trump's pet peeve, because Trump obviously pushed to finish the wall, and they fought him tooth and nail. Remember, he even pulled money from a Pentagon budget, and they had a hissy fit about it. And then to talk about the fact that he grew the debt. Okay, technically, yes, he did. But look at the numbers pre-pandemic. Then the pandemic hit. We had a worldwide pandemic. So, yes, we had to tap into things. And that's what created that situation, because all of a sudden they had to spend all this money when the world economies were being shut down. So it's a little bit, right there is unfair. The peace and prosperity, unprecedented, happened under Trump pre-pandemic. Once the pandemic struck, obviously everything shut down. Obviously the jobs were shut down, the economy, and that's when the government then had to spit out all this money. And Chris Christie knows that. But so these are his talking points. This is how he will definitely get under Trump's skin.
Dan says on Twitter, people that don't laugh at Trump tweets towards Christie are the same people that don't laugh at farts.
So true.
As a mom of teenage boys, I really appreciate that joke.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Trust me, you.
Carmen on YouTube, Nick, says, I agree with Nick. Christie is just a miserable person. Can you see him talking to the people on the streets?
That's what I'm saying. It's not that he's not he is a good speaker. He's a very good, he puts on, his thoughts. He makes his arguments. I'm not saying he's a terrible orator. But there's no voice inflection. This guy was once considered to be the successor possibly for Mike Francesa on WFAN in New York. I think it would have been an abject disaster.
No, I disagree.
I just don't think that guy would resonate.
But I think what you're saying here, I'm Nick-splaining,
yes.
But I think as I listen to you, what you're pointing out is that there are some candidates, and Trump was able to do this. Trump was really relatable, unbelievably relatable, when you think about the fact that you forgot that he was a billionaire businessman.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually at the time said he was more comfortable talking to union workers or regular folk rather than and rallying a crowd when you think of him in front of a crowd. So Trump much more relatable with the human touch. And, when you talk to women's groups and you say, oh, and you got to, that wash machine that goes on for 3 hours, he always found that relatability that I don't think a Chris Christie necessarily has. But Christie on a debate stage will get under Trump's skin because he'll talk about the things that he just talked about in that clip.
I think that, Dawn and I have both been in the presence of Trump and Christie, both. And I think they're two of the most charismatic politicians, people actually, that I've ever been in. That Chris Christie is more comfortable talking because I'm not going to talk policy with him. So when I had a conversation with him, we talked the Phillies and the Mets. Yeah. He's way more comfortable talking about that than he is politics, I think. And I think that makes him super relatable.
Yeah. Okay.
Just saying.
Yeah, on a local level, I would say, Ed Rendell in his heyday as mayor and governor, I would say that kind of politician.
Yeah.
Where so relatable. Rendell used to be a regular, call in Weekly, Greg.
Yep.
In 2015, but if you've met, and a lot of people have met him in this area and can relate to that, I would say that Trump and Chris Christie are on that level. Just a relatable guy who's very comfortable, whether it's one-on-one or with a crowd.
Yeah.
By the way, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's wildfires burning all over
really?
the East Coast, up and down the East Coast. Sorry, it was turned down. You want to play that again?
Yeah, one more time.
I can smell it.
There you go. Joy Reid last night on MSNBC blames U.S. oil consumption for the wildfires.
I figured it was due to racism, but
she loves the fear-mongering. Here's Joy Reid, and the fear-mongering begins.
If you woke up this morning and your lungs were burning, you had a hard time breathing, or you looked up in the sky and felt as though you were in an apocalyptic doomsday movie, you were not alone. Right.
You were watching me on MSNBC.
Read out.
Sorry. We continue.
Now, more than 400 wildfires are burning across Canada, which is experiencing its worst wildfire season in history. And that smoke is billowing its way all across the United States. Today, around 98 million people across 18 states, from New Hampshire all the way to South Carolina, were under air quality alerts, including New York City, which earlier today had the worst air quality in the world. The air is so bad, officials in the affected areas are urging people to stay inside.
Well, according to Nick Kayal, not worse than Allentown, Pennsylvania.
No, Allentown was at a 471. Yeah, I guess you should bring that back up on the show here. So this was, I got this screen grab from Fox. It was towards the end of the Cavuto show yesterday. Worst air quality cities right now. This was at 4:47 p.m. Allentown, PA, 451. New York City, 413. Scranton, 389. And Newark, New Jersey, 332. But you can't say Allentown, PA on MSNBC.
I know.
Because they'll be like, no, where's that?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, let's go with New York.
I'll play this clip in 1 second. John Schmidt emails me. He says, good morning, Greg. Any chance we can get Governor Phil Murphy to use his sacred windmills to blow the smoke away from us?
Not a bad email.
Yeah. It's,
well played.
Yeah. A lot of good between YouTube, emails, Twitter.
Yeah, we're everywhere.
People just firing on all cylinders
That's
this
right.
morning.
That's right.
We bring the best out of people.
not partake in any outdoor activity, and start wearing N95 masks again. These kinds of weather phenomena are happening all around the globe, and it's only becoming more and more common, all because of climate change. And even as we barrel towards a climate catastrophe, many world leaders are still wary of any substantial climate action because of their unrelenting dependence on oil. And among the world's top oil suppliers is Canada, as well as the U.S. And, of course, there's Saudi Arabia. Their massive oil supply has made them one of the richest nations in the world. The Saudis are so rich off oil, they're actually buying up parts of the U.S., buildings, businesses, and now apparently golf, as the PGA just announced their merger with Saudi Arabia's Live Golf franchise. All of this despite the fact that their government played a role in funding the September 11 terrorist attacks, as well as brutally murdering Washington Post journalist Jamal Khashoggi and hacking up his body with a bone saw. These are the people who we are eating off.
This is a fun show to watch.
And by the way, guys, this is actually Joy Reid. This is not Leslie Jones pulling off a parody bit of Joy Reid on Saturday Night Live.
Who sits there and watch it? Like, oh my God!
There should be a disclaimer that goes across when that show starts, saying consuming this content is hazardous for your brain.
Yeah, exactly.
Jeez.
A little bit more here.
We're eating off our addiction to oil. And as long as we stay addicted, they will not only get richer and gobble up more and more of our industries and our culture, we will suffer the consequences as the planet we live on and that our children and grandchildren will inherit becomes even more dangerous to live in. You'd think it'd be a priority to keep breathing.
All right. Thank you. Good night, everybody. Thank you.
So we blame.
Thanks for watching.
I'm surprised she didn't connect this back to racism somehow.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Because there's the systemic injustices of society, which has led to climate change, and that leads to inflation, and the knee bones connected to the. Oh my goodness.
Speaking of Canada and the wildfires, Justin Trudeau spoke yesterday. Although not about this. It was about one of his other favorite subjects, LGBTQI plus whatever, but he struggles to say the letters.
Yeah.
I will never apologize for standing up for an LGBTQ2 plus kids' rights.
There we go. Got it.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
LGBTQ2 plus.
LGBTQ2 plus?
Yeah, the 2 plus. That's the upgrade. You get for $9.99 a month. You get the upgrades. The 2 plus.
iOS.
Yes.
Wow, I didn't realize the 2 plus.
You're supposed to say 2 plus IA.
Oh,
I believe.
Trudeau does the alphabet.
What is 2 plus IA?
It's the square root of.
I really.
For an LGBTQ2 plus.
Yeah.
We need that every time we talk about this. You need that as a drop.
He's been consuming too much smoke.
Yeah.
LBG.
Yeah.
I love that he gets so frustrated in the middle. He goes,
I know. Because he knows he's offending those people now. And they're going to get on TikTok and yell at him. Yeah, we're boys in the back. We're going to need that as a drop anytime we do a LGBTQ plus 2AZ story.
Q.
Yes.
MAGA Man on Twitter says Christie is on a revenge mission. He wanted AG. Dems are paying him to run.
Well, we have talked about what is the true motive for all of these people that don't have a shot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's Tim Scott, Nikki Haley, Vivek Ramaswamy, cabinet members, attorney generals, vice president, whatever it might be for anybody not named pretty much Joe, Don, or Ron.
Well, let me ask you guys this question. Does it really enhance you that much to run for president? And I know everybody's going to be like, of course it does. But to get humiliated and get 2% of the vote or whatever he got in 2016, does that really help you? Does that help his business?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I agree with Dawn, although I
because he's running for AG.
Yeah. I agree with Dawn, but I would say this. If I'm polling at the levels that these guys were polling at, because I'm just one of these guys, I just look at the reality of the situation, and I look at the numbers, and I'm like, I've got no shot now. What am I doing here? Seriously.
But you can't think about it. You can't pay for this kind of
publicity.
CNN, all this publicity. We're talking about it.
Right.
And so that just tees them up for bigger and better jobs, more books, That's
Does
that's
it?
what
Like
it's all about. Yeah.
like I need the guy who got 2% of the vote. That's the guy I need, who finished his term in New Jersey with 14% of the. Like that's the guy I want.
Yeah.
I think from his standpoint, it's a win-win, because plus I just think with his ego, as somebody who I just think he loves this, he eats this up.
I think the biggest winner of all of these people will end up being Tim Scott, because I think Tim Scott is going to be the vice president on the ticket.
Jason Torrance, who used to be a producer here, joined our YouTube chat. He says, "Don't the candidates get access to federal funds once they declare? Is there a monetary gain for them?"
Well, but how much money are they spending on their campaign? Like, what does Christie have in his little treasure chest to run? $5 million?
Well, there's always a monetary gain, but is he still able to do his other work on ABC? Doesn't he lose?
Yes, that's a very good point. That's true.
Because usually,
he can't be an objective. Well,
right. So I think
he can't be a talking head on ABC This Week now. That's a very good point, Don.
I didn't even know he was on ABC This Week.
Yeah, it's a paid contract.
Oh, okay.
He's paid like $1 million.
Yeah, it's a paid.
It's huge. It's a huge deal.
Well, that's a good gig.
But I think I believe that usually you would have to give that up if you're running.
Okay.
And I would say ABC has some, networks have some rules on that as well.
Yeah.
All right, that's what I got here, folks.
All right. I like it. 8:34, that'll do it for What's on the Cut Sheet Part 1. Part 2 about 1 hour from now.
An hour and 10.
An hour and 10 from now. So we'll get to that coming up. We've got the What's on Tap for the Dawn Show. We've got Who on Twitter today. Our YouTube winner has already been declared at 7:45. Stalker rang the bell early on that one this morning. And also our morning mystery movie clip with another great $50 gift certificate that we'll tell you about in just a little bit. But right now, let's get to Dawn Stensland's Big 3 at 8.
It's the Big 3 at 8 on Kayal & Company.
And Big 3 at 8, sponsored this morning by Discover Lancaster. So yes, smoky haze is expected to dissipate somewhat. Philadelphia's air quality alerts remain in the hazardous zone due to the smoke coming from Canada. Hundreds of Canadian wildfires. That haze expected to improve, though, today before it may be getting more dense. So we're not out of the woods yet. That's according to the latest from the National Weather Service. So they say the air is unhealthy to breathe, quote, and all residents should be taking precautions to protect themselves and their loved ones. So that, according to Philadelphia city health officials, as the National Weather Service issuing all of these alerts, health alerts, across Pennsylvania, Delaware, and New Jersey, and in fact, across the entire Northeast. So we're looking at that, and we had hoped that it would dissipate over the weekend. That may not be the case. And for example, the Philadelphia airport is reporting some delays, advising you if you're flying out, you want to check on flights because of the thick smoke and the conditions. There are many cancellations. And will the Phillies that were postponed from last night to tonight at 6:05, will the Phils get in this game at 6:05? It's not looking good as of right now. So we're watching the forecast very carefully on this hazy, smoke-filled day. 87 degrees is the high today. Let's talk about what's bugging lawmakers. There's one bug that is unifying lawmakers. So bills introduced in the United States House and Senate this week, they're funding research into controlling those pesky lantern flies and drawing a lot of bipartisan support. That's happening this week, including in Pennsylvania and across the region, quite frankly, because the bills would allow the Secretary of Agriculture to issue these competitive grants for research projects to find creative ways to control these invasive pests.
And these are the ones like when you're on your deck or patio at night when you put like your lighting on that are always zapping around the... Oh, good.
Yeah.
And they're a pain in the butt.
They eat everything. They're just so destructive.
And if you see like the trees around you, if you see those like little blue spots all over, those are their eggs.
Oh.
So
okay.
Yeah. It's almost like a white sappy. I don't even know what you would call it. They leave these splotches of this sticky stuff.
Another gift from China.
I know, and that's just it. Which brings us, since you mentioned China.
How does that sound?
There's actually a group of researchers in Delaware, and they have a great new idea. What could possibly go wrong? This is the USDA's Beneficial Insects Introduction Research Unit in Delaware. So they're making national news right now. Why? Because
they're meeting with Joe Biden?
Because they've discovered that these parasitic, there are two little wasps from China. One is a tiny parasitic wasp, and it attacks the lanternfly eggs. The second is another type of parasitic wasp that's a little bit larger that attacks the younger lanternfly when it's in that nymph stage after the eggs hatch. And so they're looking at these two wasps and studying them. They realize these are natural predators because they're from China.
Yeah.
But that's why I said what could possibly go wrong.
Oh, of course.
Obviously, they're studying it because what else does it attack?
Yeah.
Not just lanternflies. So that's the real problem.
A lot of bugs here in the big 3 at 8.
A lot of bugs.
I'm getting the urge for.
What?
And I haven't seen one in a long time, but I think they should make a comeback. The fly swatter. One of the most underrated household appliances you could have had. I was always a huge fly swatter fan.
What do you mean
you still have one?
Sure.
I feel like remember back in the day, you'd have like the landline phone, and some people would have them like mounted on their wall.
Yes.
And then you'd have your little keychain next to that, for your keys to get out and go in your car. And then like next to that, like the fly swatter would hang on the wall. I haven't seen one of those in decades.
Father's Day is coming up.
I'll take one.
But you got to get the one. I bought this for my husband a couple of years ago. The one that's the electronic sort of big. It looks like a racket for racquetball, but it's battery operated and it zaps.
Okay.
It's a lot of fun.
I would like one of those. I'm going to write down to Google that during the commercial.
So number 3 for our big take this morning.
Big three.
Big 3. What did I say?
Big take.
Oh, sorry. Big take was at 6 with Nick Kayal.
Yeah. Stocker's nitpicking today. Listen to
No, that's okay.
Sorry.
This guy.
Big 3, number 3.
Branding's important. Okay?
Yes, branding.
WANBC. Branding's important.
Bring the jingles back.
Number 3 for the big 3, movie director and screenwriter M. Night Shyamalan, who grew up in this area. He has finalized his purchase of the 218-acre Kirkwood farm with a deal that 90 acres will not be developed. So a lot of people are very excited about this. I'm an M. Night fan myself, but it's the Kirkwood farm property, and it's all for the creation of this public nature preserve on Plumsock and Providence Road. So I believe this is part of, is it Chester County, parts of Chester, and as well they've added some land that I guess extends toward Bucks County as well. So Newtown Square, no, not Bucks County, Chester County. It's Grubbs Mill Road in Newtown Square. This is Chester County. But a lot of people are excited about this, that he's bought this, loves the area, but that a total of 90 acres they promised for 100 years in this conservation effort. I don't know. I thought he's a pretty cool guy, family guy, loves the area and investing. This property was famous and well-known, owned by the Rockefeller family for more than 100 years, and now purchased by Shyamalan for $24 million.
Wow.
Oh, nice return on your investment.
Sweet.
There you go.
So if you love the land and you don't have $24 million, why not just discover Lancaster? Calling all ice cream lovers, indulge in Lancaster County's mouth-watering ice cream trail. Sample delectable flavors at charming local creameries. Discover sweet delights around every corner. Find the trail at discoverlancaster.com today. Thank you, Discover Lancaster, for sponsoring our Big 3 at 8.
All right, Dawn, thank you very much. 855-839-1210. Parents livid over pride videos shown to their 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade children. That story on the way. But right now, let me tell you about my friends at the Piazza Auto Group. I had the opportunity to sample all sorts of great SUVs, February, March, April, and then right around Memorial Day weekend, I said the Alfa Romeo was nice, the Maserati was awesome, that Land Rover Defender was badass, but you know what? I'm in the mood for a truck. I can't fight the urge for a truck, not a minivan, but a truck. And the 2023 Honda Ridgeline Black Edition from Piazza Honda in Springfield was the winner. Just got my lease, and it's absolutely gorgeous. It's really the right blend of size, power, and style for what I need with my family and for my lifestyle. You can see the pictures on Twitter and see how awesome of a truck this actually is. If you're in the market for a new or certified pre-owned vehicle, whether it's a truck, SUV, car, or minivan, I encourage you to shop with Piazza Auto Group. 15 brands, 34 locations. Trust me, you're going to be able to find one of their dealerships. You're going to find the brand you want, the vehicle specifically, and something that fits your needs, and most importantly, your budget. Check them out today, piazzaautogroup.com.
The year is nearly half over, and you're still dealing with that knee or hip pain. Enough is enough. Pills are not the answer. Surgery is not the answer. You need to call QC Kinetics right now. Hey, Dawn Stensland here. The advanced regenerative medicine solutions at QC Kinetics can give you a life without that chronic joint pain. And you can do all those summer activities that you used to enjoy. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in taking healing properties from your own body so your joint tissue can be repaired and restored naturally. Patients across America are having life-changing results. No drugs, no surgery, no downtime. If you're suffering with joint pain in your knees, hips, back, shoulders, you need to stop what you're doing. Call QC Kinetics now. Get a free consultation. Learn how the latest advances in regenerative medicine can give you your life back. Call now, 215-999-3000, 215-999-3000. QC Kinetics. Tell them Dawn sent you.
You're invited to a private showing of the most important movie you'll see in retirement. The Baby Boomer Dilemma is a groundbreaking documentary from award-winning director Doug Orchard. Throughout the film, Nobel Prize winners, PhDs, and esteemed economists expose the cracks in the financial industry that have 401ks, IRAs, Social Security, and other retirement plans on the brink of collapse. After the movie, you'll receive an education that's unlike any other. Learn how to apply the solutions presented by these experts, which align with and validate our proprietary crash-proof retirement system, proven by over 5,000 consumers. Register for this complimentary screening at Springfield Country Club on June 28th, and let Crash-Proof Retirement provide you the crucial information you need to avoid the baby boomer dilemma that's on the horizon. Registration is required. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
At Wells Fargo, if you accidentally overdraw your account, we give you an extra day grace period to avoid the overdraft fee. What if everything came with an extra day?
Sunday night and I have the Sunday scaries.
Honey, don't be scared. Every weekend comes with an extra day now.
All right. TGI Sunday.
It helps to have an extra day. When it comes to overdrafts, you can with Wells Fargo.
Visit wellsfargo.com/getextra to learn more. Terms and conditions apply. Subject to timing requirements and the bank's funds availability policy. Wells Fargo Bank N.A. member FDIC.
Communities are filled with all kinds of people. You've got your speed walkers, your movie buffs, and can't forget about the this could use more paprika folks. AARP offers events right in our community to help you find your crew. The sooner you join the fun, the more connections you'll make along the way. AARP Philadelphia is hosting free events during June and July, like virtual art and garden tours, bird watching, and more. Register today at aarp.org/local.
Here's a great tip for spring. Trust PJ Fitzpatrick for the perfect new roof. They've earned thousands of 5-star reviews and back all new roofs with a lifetime guarantee on materials and labor. The PJ Fitzpatrick team of experienced professionals installs most roofs in just one day. Set up a free design consultation this month to take advantage of their warehouse sale. Plus, they have special financing if you need it for qualified buyers. Visit trustpj.com today. That's trustpj.com.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. June means Men's Health Month for Rescue Natural Supplements. We all know how demanding life can be. When juggling work, family, and personal commitments, you need energy and optimal health. So fear not, because Rescue Men's Health Supplements are here for you. For the month of June, save 50% on the products that guys need most. That's half off on testosterone boosters, prostate support, and more. Discover the amazing benefits of Rescue Natural Male, Prime RX, Super Prostate. No code is needed to get 50% off. Just call a rescue product consultant, 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483, or shop online by visiting res-q.com. res-q.com. It's not just your physical health. Men's supplements can help your mental well-being too. Again, no code is needed to get 50% off on Rescue Men's Health favorites. Shop res-q.com today. res-q.com.
Kayal and Company mornings. Rich Cioli afternoons. Free speech lives here. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Jenny, who can I turn to?
8675309, baby. That won't get you on Kayal and Company. That could get you Jenny. But we're at 855-839-1210 as we continue live on this Thursday morning. Nick, Dawn, and Greg. So, a couple of things coming up. We've got to get to our big three at 9 in a little bit. Our morning mystery movie clip, all the stuff in the 9 o'clock hour that you know and love. That's coming up shortly. Also, parents livid over a Pride video, and also a university making demands that conservative students pay the fee for what left-wing leftist rioters damaged on campus. That story coming up as well. But Greg Stocker's been handed, apparently, a bit of a gem.
So we just played the video or the audio of Justin Trudeau struggling over the LGBTQI plus two.
Yeah.
For those of you just tuning in now or watching right now on YouTube, let me play that, and then you'll hear what's next.
Okay. LGBTQ2 plus.
Jenny, don't change your gender. Please don't be a guy. Jenny, don't change your gender. LGBTQ plus 2I, yeah. LGBTQ plus 2I, yeah. LGBTQ plus 2I, yeah. LGBTQ plus 2I, yeah.
Oh, man.
That put together by our good friend Michael Pelka.
Stunt brain. Yeah, boy.
Hysterical.
I got tears coming out. Can we run that back one more time, or is it overkill? I don't know. You tell me.
One more time.
LGBTQ2 plus.
Jenny, don't change your gender. Please don't be a guy. Jenny, don't change your gender. LGBTQ plus 2I, yeah. LGBTQ plus 2I, yeah. LGBTQ plus 2I, yeah. LGBTQ plus 2I, yeah.
If you're not singing that all day long, there's something wrong with you.
Yes, I agree. Well done. 855-839-1210. The fly swatter conversation has taken off on social media.
No.
I didn't even think about that, but I just want to read a couple of these tweets. Matthew Kelly says, Billy Joel keeps a fly swatter on his piano at outdoor concerts. That's number one. Hasn't been sober says, my mother was also a big fan of the fly swatter, but for discipline purposes.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, the fly swatter will get your attention, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
The right snap on the keister, that'll get you.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Absolutely.
We need to bring more of that back. Maybe
I
we wouldn't have
agree.
such hooligans running around.
I know.
Hooligans. Yeah, the problem is some of the hooligans in Philadelphia have a semi-automatic firearm.
That's true.
So,
hey, remember?
I have a fly swatter. Yeah, well, I have this. Sorry.
Yeah. You don't bring a fly swatter to a gunfight,
It's true.
right?
It's true.
The other item that people are saying we should bring back is the back scratcher.
Yeah.
I was a huge back scratcher fan.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Yeah, there are some spots, especially being tall, there's some spots on your back that you can't reach. And
Yeah.
it's,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
My old man used to watch sports, and he'd have his little table set up next to him. He'd have the fly swatter, the back scratcher, can of
beer. I was
Budweiser.
just going to say a can of Budweiser next to him. Yeah. Pack of Pall Malls.
Yeah, exactly right, man. There you go.
so funny.
It's back when we didn't care.
Yeah.
855-839-1210. So let's get back to a couple of these stories, and I do want to get to this one because this is remarkable because this is right in the wheelhouse of where my daughters are finishing up third grade. They're going to be in fourth grade next year. And parents, this is from The Blaze, livid over Pride video that was shown to third, fourth, and fifth graders in which the child says, quote, "I never really felt like a boy, and I don't really feel like a girl, so I'd rather be both." Okay. Some parents in Connecticut up in arms over a Pride Month video that was shown to the third, fourth, and fifth graders. Here's some of the details from this story. What's more interesting, some parents said that their children are too young to learn about these topics like gender. And now this has gone viral at the Wells Road Intermediate School in Granby, Connecticut. And this story was covered by WFSB TV. The video shows children describing what Pride Month means to them. Here's a few of the quotes. "Pride means you should be able to be free." A participant named Simon, who uses he/they pronouns, said in the clip, quote, "All my life, I never really felt like a boy, and I don't really feel like a girl, so I'd rather be both," end quote. Parents told the station the day the video was shown at school that their kids got home and told them about it. Quote, "When I saw the video, I was extremely disturbed," said parent Kayal Reyes, noting to WFSB. These are, quote, "conversations that if anyone's going to have with kids, it should be parents having them with their kids." Reyes added to the station that he's pulling his 4 children, all of them under the age of 9, out of the district over the video, which is, I think, good parenting by that guy. He goes on to say, WFSB showed the video to a mother who was in the high school pickup line, the elementary school pickup line on Monday. Quote, "They needed to get parents' permission to show their children that. We should have been told so that we can have a conversation at home and not be thrown off guard this way." I really think, and I'm just as, if Nick Kayal ruled the world from an academic standpoint, all of these things need to be in a curriculum, on an agenda, well before the school year starts, and give parents the proper notice. We talk a lot about school choice and everything that's going on in our communities with our school districts and our administrators and vouchers and all these other different programs and everything that's going on with the schools have become really like this breeding ground for this left-wing ideology. And to me, I think moving forward, especially in public schools, taxpayer dollars, parents are the ones that are funding the livelihoods of these teachers. I really think like from a college standpoint, you would get the syllabus 6 weeks before class started. You knew what was on it. And if you see stuff on there that you don't want your child to be a part of, I think you should be given advance notice, the opportunity to voice your opinion, your displeasure, and or maybe even have them removed to not be in there when that part of a lesson is taught. If you don't have the ability to relocate or pay for private schools or charter schools or whatever, this should not be something that the parent gets slapped up over the side of the head with when they're in a pickup line or when Johnny gets off the bus at 3:45.
No, because add music programs. We have low math scores, historically low math scores, historically low reading scores. Look at what's happening in Philadelphia. We just talked about the fact that we had graduating, or we've talked about this month, we had graduating classes where Philadelphia high school students basically had about a year and a half of actual in-classroom instruction, and some of that was with a mask, because of the pandemic shutdowns. I don't know how they have time to talk about all this stuff when they have a lot of work to do. Yeah. Do your work, do the math, and why not add more curriculum such as gym class, music class, talk about art, talk about anything else. Why are they spending so much time with little kids talking about any kind of sexuality? Yeah. Why? Well, why is that the focus?
The advancement of high school for me in the late 90s, early 2000s, all of a sudden when you got to 10th grade was they offered intro to psychology, intro to business classes. It was more than just your average math, science, reading, history, English language arts. There was other stuff. So find some other programs, or to your point, Dawn, get to where you need to be in the core subjects that matter, and then you could at least, from their perspective, say, hey, students are up to where they need to be. Now we're going to introduce this stuff. You're still going to get pushback from me on it,
right?
But at least you're checking off boxes of what your job description says you should be doing.
Yeah, and we've talked about health and nutrition, and we have an obesity crisis with children especially. Why not, if you've got all this time to talk about an 8-year-old or a 7-year-old or a 10-year-old's pronouns, hey, let's plant a garden at the school. Let's talk about organic vegetables, eating your vegetables and how they grow. Let's plant the garden. If you've got all this time, you've got a lot of time and money and energy to spend on new curriculum. I can come up with 20 better curriculi that they should be focusing on rather than this is junk, this is garbage.
Curriculi, very nice.
Yeah.
The plural.
Yes.
As well.
How do you spell that?
Curriculi.
Curricula. Can you use that in a sentence, Miss Stensland?
whilst you ponder on the curricula.
And you know,
seriously.
Speaking of pronouns, can we actually have the kids educated on pronouns, on how to use them properly under the context of nouns, pronouns, adjectives, adverbs, and that, before we just all of a sudden just wamboozle them with pronouns for the whole purpose and sake of gender identity? I mean, come on. It's just... all these teachers.
And by the way, I think there's a sweet way to say, hey, it's Pride Month. What are you proud of?
Sure.
Let's be proud, and not necessarily about what the adults are proud of. The adults, there are adults who they're expressing their pride for their different issues. What are you proud of?
Well, I'm proud of Greg Stocker for saying time to wrap it up and get to Dawn Stensland as we swing it on over to Dawn for a word from QC Kinetics.
Yeah, because QC Kinetics is awesome, and it's really revolutionary, especially if you're dealing with that knee or maybe hip pain, some kind of chronic joint pain. Honestly, enough is enough. This year is almost half over, so pills, not the answer. Surgery, not the answer. You got to call QC Kinetics if you're hurting, because the advanced regenerative medicine solutions at QC Kinetics give you a life without that chronic joint pain. And you do all the summer stuff that you love to do, and you get this relief naturally. And that's the real key here. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in taking healing properties from your own body and then applying them, putting them directly into your achy joint so that your joint tissue, it's repaired, it's restored naturally. This is a treatment that is truly revolutionary, and it's right here in Philadelphia and the Philadelphia suburbs. So patients across the region, across America, are having these life-changing results. No drugs, no surgery, no downtime. So if you're suffering with that pain in your knees or your back or your shoulders or your hips, stop what you're doing. Just call QC Kinetics. Call them for a free consultation and learn how these latest advances in regenerative medicine give you your life back. Call 215-999-3000, 215-999-3000. QC Kinetics, 215-999-3000. Tell them Dawn sent you.
WPHD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Comedian Joe Conklin.
Joel as Mr. Softy.
A creamy, soft ice cream. It comes from Mr. Softy. Melts in a big spot like me. They call me Mr. Softy. Almost run out of breath. Ice cream makes me tired.
See Joe Conklin with the City Rhythm Orchestra, July 15th in Ocean City, New Jersey, and July 22nd in North Wildwood. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. joeconklin.com!
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. I often tell you about my buddy Roy with 2 big stores of batteries plus bulbs, Mount Laurel and Northfield. Here's a review from Matt. This is word by word. Here's what he said. It's a great place to grab any batteries or phone repairs. I work with a fleet of vehicles. This place has had batteries from cars to pickups to heavy-duty tractor batteries. The owner's a nice guy. He's not afraid to come out and give great advice. And if they don't have your battery, typically the next day they can get it. Customer service is the key when you visit them. They power it, they light it, they fix it. Mount Laurel and Northfield, batteries plus bulbs.
You got the alert this morning. Now get the whole story. Count on NBC 10 News today.
It's more than just headlines. It's news to get you ready for your day.
If you need motivation, here we go. We've got your playbook.
The most accurate hour-by-hour weather forecasts.
Traffic info to get you there and back easier. It's all you need to get up, get ahead, and stay ahead.
Make your mornings count with NBC 10 News today. count on it.
Hurts gives it off and keeps it and rolls down to the 2. And is he in? Yes! He let it go and it's intercepted. It's picked up by Josh Sweat. 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Josh Sweat. Deep down the far side, and it is A.J. Brown again. Another touchdown. He steps up. He's hit. He fumbles the football, but I think he has it. Nope. Now the Eagles have it. That'll be the game. He breaks away at the 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Miles Sanders, touchdown. Wow. He is firing the football, and it is caught by Devontae Smith. Great catch. Attention, air traffic control. A flock of Eagles is heading to Arizona.
Sweet memories. Last season was so much fun, and I believe this season will be even better. If you want your business to be part of this season's Eagles Radio Network highlight reel, email advertise@94wip.com for information. More great action is quickly approaching.
One of the best ways to extend the life of your air conditioner and prevent breakdowns is an annual check of your system. Oliver's 20-point inspection by a certified technician includes a test of all major operations of your air conditioner. Schedule your appointment for an AC safety inspection by May 31st and pay only $70. And if we find a problem, you'll save $50 on any AC repair. Call Oliver today to schedule your appointment and stay nice and cool all summer. Oliver Heating and Cooling. Peace of mind for your home and business.
Hey, Ben Salem, tell your smart speaker play 1210 WPHT.
Slip inside the eye of your mind. Don't you know you might find a better place to play? You said that you've never been, but all the things that you've seen slowly fade away.
Kayal and Company, as we continue, 9 o'clock hour on a Thursday morning. It's great to have all of you in. 855-839-1210, the phone number. If you'd like to jump in on Twitter or Instagram, you can send us a message at 1210WPHT. And, of course, listen to us on the free Odyssey app or stream us live if you want to get the video aspect of the show. YouTube.com/@1210WPHT. Dawn's Big 3 at 9 coming up in a couple of minutes. We've got our morning mystery movie clip at 9:20 and a lot of other good stuff as we continue. A handful of stories to get to, including Howard Stern's obsession with calling Caitlyn Jenner the transgender people's worst nightmare. You know, back in the day, yeah, he's apparently he can't let it go that Caitlyn Jenner is trans, but she's kind of against some of the trans invasion of sports. It's a really odd dynamic, but it's something that Howard Stern just doesn't seem to be able to process. So we'll play you that in a couple of minutes because these are the things that Howard Stern talks about these days. You know, back in the day, he used to interview guys like the Iron Sheik, and they would have all kinds of nonsense on the radio. And now it's more like an MSNBC show with Joy Reid. But that's the evolution or the de-evolution of Howard Stern from courageous anti-establishment guy to left-wing propagandist. But that's his right. 855-839-1210.
It's funny, you can make the argument, not make the argument, I would actually put money on it, that the trailblazers now, as far as free speech goes, are the people on this radio station and do what we do. Yeah. Not anymore. Like, it's not shocking anymore to say penis on the radio.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, that's not a credit to him.
Mm-hmm.
He took all the flack from the FCC, from the religious right groups who wanted to boycott him and ban him in the 80s and 90s. But like we've moved past all that now.
Oh,
now,
for sure.
Now getting the stuff out that we get that's really what is renegade-ish.
Yes. Yeah, it's funny is he was considered to be, this trailblazer, which he was, and look how courageous Howard Stern is, saying all the stuff that we would love to say, but
he was, by the way.
Yes,
he was,
and he was.
Yes,
and now, and from a controversial standpoint, let's just say it's 1993. He was viewed to be the king of controversy.
Yep.
And to your point, 30 years later here in 2023, talk radio is viewed to be, depending on who you talk to, either courageous or the radical content.
Yeah, if you listen to some of the shows from the 90s, he talked about a lot of the stuff that we talk about now, just in a different way. You know what I mean? And and there were advertisers that wanted to boycott him. There were advertisers that said, if you air the show, we're no longer going to give you ad dollars. There was all kinds of...
He was getting the Tucker Carlson treatment.
He was.
If you think about it.
He was.
Great ratings, but advertisers like,
I know.
I don't know.
Yes.
You know?
So it is, he did all that once upon a time. Now, fast forward 30 years, here we are trying to, keep free speech alive, one of the last mediums that's doing that.
Yep.
And we're getting the same treatment that he got in the 90s.
And I've told you in the past, on the air and off the air, that my Howard Stern content consumption was never actually via the radio. I would watch the TV recap on MTV late at night.
Yep.
But how close? I mean, I figured he, in 1993, what do I know about the FCC? But was he legitimately close to being pulled permanently?
Oh, my God, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it was the...
Because you got to have people that go to bat for you to survive that kind of pressure.
Most fined radio broadcaster ever. Got the biggest fines. It kind of died down a little bit in the 90s, and then it got picked up in the early 2000s after the Janet Jackson thing. Clear Channel, which is now iHeart.
Yep.
All the stations he was on for Clear Channel and iHeart, they dumped him.
Was that over the Super Bowl performance?
It was because if you guys remember the Super Bowl performance,
the nipple slip.
All of a sudden everybody got super, we can't do this, we can't do that, we can't do this. So everybody kind of backed away from any sort of controversial subject matter. So Clear Channel basically washed their hands of it. Like, I know we're making money hand over fist with this guy, but it's not worth it.
Wow.
So they got rid of him.
How about that?
Yeah.
Because that actually, and now I'm thinking about, you had that little stretch where it was Janet Jackson, Justin Timberlake, Britney Spears, and to your point of, hey, let's play it more safe now with Super Bowl halftime performances shows. I would actually argue they were better after that because they started going back to the Paul McCartneys of the world and music from the 70s and 80s. And I think they had a stretch where it was Aerosmith and a bunch of other people. And it's like, hey, we got to get away from like a lot of the today's pop hit sensations because they're causing a stir.
Yep.
Which it's odd to believe that, like, Justin Timberlake is controversial. I mean, the guy used to be on Mickey Mouse Clubhouse or whatever that show was in the 70s and 80s as a little kid. So
was he?
I think so. He was on one of those Disney shows.
I know Britney Spears was.
I think that's where they met.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, before she went insane. 855-839-1210. So speaking of Howard Stern, let's actually get to the Howard Stern audio because this is the once famous king of all media blasting Caitlyn Jenner for being, quote, transgender people's worst nightmare. Take a listen.
Gross. She's emaciated. No, she's not. She's hot. Stop it. You should look up guys under Emily Ratajkowski. They hate her. Kendall looks like her father. No, she doesn't. I mean,
who's he talking to?
I have no idea. I think probably Robin.
Okay. You just can't see any of
there we go.
No.
Her father in her.
No. I mean, of course, yes. She does look more like Bruce Jenner than she does the mother.
I don't think so. I think her coloring is all her mom. Yeah.
Right. Who's thinking about Bruce Jenner when you're looking at this girl?
No, don't even think.
No.
Oh, my God. Certainly can't think of Caitlyn with her constant political comments that make no sense at all.
Yeah, she's like transgender people's worst nightmare. A transgender who's self-loathing.
Oh, she's a mess.
That transgender, everyone's so uptight. You give a The religious folks are just out of their mind. They're boycotting Anheuser-Busch. They want to boycott Disney. Because, what was it? They had a Pride Day or something? I mean,
yeah. They welcome the LGBT community to come ride their rides.
Yeah, I heard some guy on TV going, God doesn't approve of this. I'm like, no offense. Your made-up friend, you don't know what he approves of. Just be quiet about what God. You don't know anything about God.
Love that. Sorry.
Yeah, here's the thing with Stern, and I don't know if whatever Jenner he was talking about, Kendall, I don't know what her political comments is, because Robin basically said that her political comments make no sense at all. I mean, I don't know. Is Robin Quivers a conservative? I have no idea. And I have no idea if Caitlyn Jenner's daughter, Kendall Jenner, it's hard to keep up with them. Jenners, Kardashians, everything starts with a C and a K. My God. But he has been one of these individuals that has railed against Caitlyn Jenner, because Caitlyn Jenner is one of these individuals that is saying, no, biological males have no right to invade female sports. And Stern can't figure out where Jenner is coming from, having gone through the process and the procedure that Jenner has gone through. And it makes me wonder if, when we talk about the whole trans movement, is Caitlyn Jenner the perfect example? Because it feels like, to me, there's, I don't know if buyer's remorse is the right phrase, but part of Caitlyn Jenner that kind of regrets.
Oh, I don't think so.
Because prior, as known as Bruce Jenner.
Yeah, no, I don't think she regrets anything.
Because a lot of her stances, or his, or however you want to refer to Caitlyn Jenner, are on the right.
Yeah.
Which is weird, because this is a left-wing thing, right?
Well, it's interesting, because she really was a trailblazer for all of this stuff. And you would think that she would be praised and hailed in the trans community.
Right.
But apparently not.
That's the whole confounding part of this.
Yeah.
And, she goes on to say, and here's the quote, "Trans is not made up or fake, but it is oversaturated due to indoctrination and is the latest way the left is destroying the family unit. Growing government, the indoctrination in the classroom, and the subsequent drastic increase in children being transitioned is a huge problem." So Caitlyn Jenner not only doesn't want biological males in female sports, Caitlyn Jenner also thinks that this is absurd for minors.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is the stance that I think many conservatives have of, hey, if you're an adult and you want to go through with this, you're an adult, by all means, go right ahead. But, sending your kid to a doctor at 8 years old to go through this procedure is a big no-no for many conservatives.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, Stern has to take the shot at, religion and the whole bit, but whatever. So figured we would play that for you. 855-839-1210.
That's nothing new for him, though.
No, of course not.
He's done that for, this whole idea that Howard Stern was like this right-wing trailblazer. He never was.
No.
But he was kind of like Joe Rogan, where you never knew where he was going to stand on any one issue. He was kind of all over the place, and he was, conservatives loved him, liberals loved him, because nobody really knew what side he was on.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's very clear. What side
of course.
He's on.
Of course.
He makes it very clear he does not like conservatives, and he does not like Republicans, and he hates Trump and all that stuff, even though Trump was at his wedding.
Do you believe it? Or is this more of just him placating to a new?
No, I think this is
true. The true him.
This is who he's always been.
Okay.
I think he knew what lane to go down when he was on terrestrial radio. He knew he couldn't alienate an audience, because his job was to get ratings. His job isn't to get ratings now.
Right.
His job is to do what he's doing. He already cashed in from Sirius XM. He doesn't need the money. He's just doing the show now that he wants to do. But when he was on terrestrial radio, he had to make money. He had to get ratings. He had to do this. So he just said and did whatever he thought was shocking at the time.
Yeah, very true. 855-839-1210. Coming up in just a couple of minutes, it's the morning mystery movie clip, followed by Dawn Stensland's Big 3 at 9 as we continue Thursday. Kayal and Company.
Hi, this is Joe Mederchuk, PNC Bank Regional President. It has been a challenging few years, but Philadelphia arts community is back. What has remained constant is PNC's support for the arts. Through PNC Arts Alive, we've provided more than $15 million in support of 300 arts and cultural programs, bringing the arts to more than 2 million audience members. Soon, we will unveil our 2023 PNC Arts Alive grantees, and we can't wait to see you at an upcoming event. Learn more at pncartsalive.com. PNC Bank, National Association, member FDIC.
For all of you who love to cook Italian, here's a mouth-watering message from Cento.
Baked lasagna, manicotti, clam sauce with linguine, chicken parmigiana, and tuna capellini, gnocchi Kayal, rosa sauce, pomodoro, frittata, pappardelle, percitelli, pasta caponata.
How do you give those dishes authentic old world flavor? Authentic Italian cooking begins with Cento. Cento for taste that sings. Cento. Trust your family with our family.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
"Those stomach issues ruined your birthday"?
"You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa."
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
If these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist and ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Economics, finance, investment.
We're risk averse and we're looking for perfection.
Bloomberg Surveillance with Tom Keene, Jonathan Perro, and Lisa Abramowitz.
What's the full year total return going to look like?
The business news you need to start your day. And the names that shape the world's markets.
Richard Clarida, Federal Reserve Vice Chairman.
Bloomberg Surveillance, weekday mornings at 7 Eastern on Bloomberg Television, the Bloomberg Business app, and Bloomberg.com.
Can I rip up the script here?
Check your local listings for the cable or satellite provider in your area.
Your new kitchen appliances look stunning.
Thanks. We had a blast shopping for them at National Appliance Warehouse. There's over 100 brands in their huge showroom. The best part was knowing everything was at the best price.
You must have done a ton of research.
Oh, we didn't need to. They use a cutting-edge technology called Price Assure. It searches prices online and updates electronic Price Assure tags in real time to make sure theirs is the lowest.
Lower than the big box stores.
Especially them, with much better service, too. And they do it all. Delivery, installation, everything.
National Appliance Warehouse in Wilmington.
Yes, they may not be the closest, but they'll make your wallet the happiest.
The Friends and Family Savings Event is underway at National Appliance Warehouse. Save on LG. Get a deluxe stainless steel kitchen suite with French door refrigerator from LG regularly $43.43 for only $21.99.88 after rebate. That's a budget saving $2,143.12. An incredible package. Preview the savings at nationalappliancewarehouse.com or visit their easily accessible showroom on 202 in tax-free Wilmington.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
$9:21, Kayal Company. Heating up, can't cool down. Must be global warming. Climate change, baby. Talk Radio 1210. A lot coming up here in the final 40 minutes. We will get to What's on the Cut Sheet Part 2, What's on Tap for the Dawn Show, and who won Twitter today. But before we get to that, and before we get to Dawn's Big 3 at 9, it is 9:21, which means it's time for the Morning Mystery Movie Clip.
And now, the Morning Mystery Movie Clip on Kayal Company. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Hi, I'd like to return these. Oh, of course. Do you have your receipt? No, but they're unopened. They haven't been touched.
I really need your receipt.
They are sealed. They are brand new.
Do you have the credit card that you use?
This is ridiculous. I bought these last week. Ma'am, you can try client services on the 6th floor. You know, never mind. I'll just keep them. Jesus. Can I at least get a bag?
Sure.
Think you know what it is? Be call at 12 at 855-839-1210, and you could win this great prize.
I think that's going to be a tough one.
I do too.
It's going to be a very difficult one. I'll give you one hint. It came out 5 years ago today. That's all I can tell you. But if you know it, caller 12, 855-839-1210, and you will get a $50 gift card to the Metro Diner. Caller 12 at 855-839-1210. Correct answer to that movie clip that came out 5 years ago today. $50 gift card to the Metro Diner. Good luck, and if you can't figure it out, blame Anthony Dorenzo. All right, let's go from our morning mystery movie clip on over to Dawn Stensland for her Big Three at 9.
It's the Big 3 at 9 on Kayal and Company.
Yeah, we have a lot of breaking news surrounding all the warnings and alerts this morning about the hazardous air quality conditions due to those wildfires by the hundreds burning across Canada, and then that air mass making its way to the Northeast and specifically our region. So officials across Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware say that these health alerts continue and that breathing the air, which is very poor air quality, can be dangerous for some, but the general population is now being told, stay inside, don't go outside for extended periods of time, and flights into and out of Philadelphia grounded due to low visibility related to the smoke from those wildfires in Canada. So the FAA issued this ground stop at Philadelphia International Airport this morning. It started, I saw it on at Phila Airport on Twitter. They said it at 8:43. I'm looking at the FAA site. They've said the ground stop should be lifted around 9:15, which was obviously almost 10 minutes ago. But I between that, it's obviously causing then the domino impact of delays. And so the point here is, if you or someone you're about to pick up is planning a flight and they're supposed to be taking off or landing, obviously this is wreaking havoc with air travelers. So you really want to just check out your individual flight, with your individual airport. Make sure that you call ahead and check with them. And this is, I'm told, as I look at all the different sites, this is changing by the minute. Mm-hmm. So LaGuardia, for example, all the airports are affected, including New Jersey, New York, across the region. But LaGuardia is experiencing at least 1 hour delays. And the minimum you're going to experience in Philadelphia, even for landing, it's a minimum of 20 minutes. But I suspect it's a real headache for air travelers.
Okay.
As far as the air quality and the health, so the National Weather Service, as well as NOAA, they are issuing these alerts. Poor air quality can be hazardous to anyone, they say, and it can aggravate health problems if you already have such a thing as asthma, heart disease, lung disease, seniors, children, all of these, compromised immune system. So they've put out all of these warnings. Here are some of the symptoms that they are asking us to broadcast. And that is exposure to these air pollutants, they say, such as these particulates, these air particles, and the ground level ozone. If you get a sudden headache, irritated eyes, your sinuses, fatigue, extreme fatigue, difficulty breathing, chest pains, asthma attacks, irritated throat, increased coughing. These are just some of the symptoms that they're asking us, please give these out. Because if this is happening to you, you want to make sure that you take good care.
Yeah, I had the irritated throat and the cough on Tuesday night, and that was at the very early infancy periods of us starting to, smell it and see it in this area.
Yeah, so it's important to take care and, put that cold cloth over your eyes if you're experiencing it. Get inside and make sure if you're driving, put on that button that says recirculate the air. All of those warnings they're just giving out.
Yeah, and if you're driving, put on the other button that says 12:10 a.m.
Thank you.
Yes.
Or the Odyssey app.
Or the Odyssey app, yes.
So Pat Robertson, word that the Christian broadcaster who turned a tiny Virginia station into the global Christian broadcasting network, tried to run for president, helped make faith and religion central to Republican Party politics in America through his Christian coalition. Word that Pat Robertson has died, and he was 93 years old.
Jimmy Fallon tweeting that Pat Robertson has died, which means for the first time ever, there's a good chance he'll vote Democrat.
That's funny.
Jimmy Fallon is so funny.
God.
So we've talked about, I want to get down to the Jersey Shore because Greg Stocker was asking for a friend. What about the National Weather Service? What about this forecast
For a
moving
friend,
into
yes.
the weekend, right? And the Jersey Shore.
Yep.
Well, unfortunately, the NWS, those meteorologists and climatologists are reporting that these smoke importing winds could continue into Saturday.
Oh, boy.
With near surface smoke, at measurable rates. And so this thing is not going away.
It's frustrating because, living here on the East Coast, living in Philadelphia like we do, you only get a finite amount of weekends that you could do the Jersey Shore trips.
Yeah.
Yes.
And to have one of them in the peak of the season be taken from me
By Canada.
I feel like we need to invade them for
I
that.
do too.
Just for the fact that I can't sit my pasty white butt on the beach.
Yeah. You know what? I think moving forward, we should continue our beer boycotts.
Yeah.
And now we boycott Canadian beer.
Absolutely.
Molson, Labatt's, get the hell out.
It's overrated anyway. Amen. Amen.
So just for you, Greg, if you are going down the shore
I've heard that.
on the beach,
Yeah.
not on the bay, why? A warning for those who prefer swimming in the back bays of the Jersey Shore instead of the ocean. Marine experts in New Jersey say a dangerous sea creature could be hiding right beneath the surface of the water, a clinging jellyfish.
What the hell's Chris Christie doing in the Atlantic?
So apparently there's a lot of vegetation and the algae and the seagrass, and these little clinging jellyfish, they have a really nasty, painful sting.
I've heard that.
And so the marine biologists, especially researchers at Montclair State University, they're saying, might not want to swim in the bay.
Yeah,
Did you ever step on a
back bay.
jellyfish as a kid?
I've been stung by them.
Okay, that's what I was asking.
I've been stung by them in Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
It was painful.
Oh, I know.
Oh, it's painful.
Ouch.
Yeah. And this one I hear, like, it affects your whole body, not just the spot.
Yeah.
Sounds horrendous.
We actually have audio of when Stalker got stung.
Holy crap! it's actually true.
Remember when Zioli was stung and it was
he
all
got
over
it
his
too.
Oh yeah, it was on his face. We were like picking out the stinger things out of his arm and his face.
He's a walking calamity, honestly. I've never met a human being he's like Mr. Glass.
So be safe, baby.
Yeah, oh my Lord.
So that's a little creepy. So yeah, swim in the ocean. What could possibly go wrong?
Dead dolphins and
Yeah.
dead,
Oh, my goodness.
dead whales.
Speaking of the
washing
ocean,
up on shore.
Tony Bruno pulled out a shark yesterday from the ocean.
I saw.
He was fishing.
Obviously, he's not on Twitter, but
No.
Miss Robin posted it.
Yeah.
I saw that.
A little baby shark.
Yep.
Yeek. That's our big
Baby
three.
shark.
No.
I know, right? Don't sing that. That's our big three.
Don't you have PA parks here? PA
Do I have perks?
Thoroughbred
Racing?
Yeah, can you
Yeah,
do that
because
for us? Thank
the
you.
Pennsylvania Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association.
Who's the person who's supposed to keep track of this? Where are they? Sorry. Okay, go on, Dawn.
This is the Pennsylvania Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association and Parks Racing. I don't know if you guys knew this. I grew up with horses.
Yeah.
So I had gone with some friends and we had been able to visit some of the horses. And they actually have a great charity involved, a nonprofit. There are people who adopt the horses after they're past prime. So they're just beautiful animals. But this is a family day and it's a family fun day. So it's this Saturday at the track, Parks Racing. Gates open at 10 a.m. and the Basset Hounds are back. It's Barks at the Parks and Belmont Stakes Day. Enjoy family fun at the Parks Picnic Grove from noon to 5. And then they have fun pony rides, moon bounces, face painting, and much more. Plus all the music by DJ Tonka, food and beverage specials, souvenir merchandise, and so much more. So you come and watch the Basset Hound races in between the Thoroughbred races and benefit Tri-State Basset Hound Rescue. So enjoy all the thrill of live Thoroughbred racing. It's so exciting. Watch the Belmont Stakes on the big screen at Parks Racing. First post at 12:05. That's p.m. just after lunchtime. And it's all from the Pennsylvania Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association and Parks Racing in Bensalem, Street Road exit off 95, and of course the PA Turnpike. A family fun day. It's this Saturday, and gates open at 10. Must be 18 if you want to wager at Parks Racing, and of course 21 to gamble at Parks Casino. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Now, Dawn, you mentioned the horses there, and once they're out of their prime, I believe you read. Has Don Lemon confirmed when a horse is in fact out of their prime? Might need some confirmation on that.
I'm Don Lemon, and you will respect me. You will watch me.
They have some great nonprofits, and
Yeah.
it's pretty neat to see, families who adopt these animals, and especially I know in the autistic communities. Then I have a nephew who enjoys the horseback riding and connecting with the animals, and this one also benefits the Basset Hounds. So there's some great things going on.
All right. Let's see if we've got our morning mystery movie clip winner. I believe we have Allie in Philadelphia on the line. Allie, good morning. How are you? What was the morning clip we played for you a while back?
Hello, that was from Ocean's 8.
That's correct. You got the right number with it. So you've got a $50 gift card to the Metro Diner. How's that sound?
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Yes, Allie, thank you for listening, and thank you for playing. All right, 855-839-1210. We will come back. We'll get to What's on the Cut Sheet Part 2, What's on Tap for the Dawn Show today, and Who Won Twitter Today is all still ahead here on Kayal & Company.
At Agora Cyber Charter School, all students can thrive in a classroom. Agora staff rallies around each student, giving them a sense of belonging through their own unique experience from the safety and comfort of their home. Live instruction is taught in real time by PA-certified teachers. Students have no barriers to reaching their highest potential, to being challenged, to being curious, to being connected. Agora serves Pennsylvania students grades K through 12. Enroll today for the 2023 to 2024 school year. Learn more and attend a live virtual open house at agora.org.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. You can shed that fat and be slimmer for the summer. No more wearing cover-ups or T-shirts in the pool. NJ Diet will help you the natural way. There are no shots, no hormones, and no surgery. You will lose a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40 plus pounds in only 40 days with NJ Diet. They use your hair, saliva, and blood work along with bioenergetic scans to personalize natural solutions and supplements that get your body into the fat-burning zone so you can finally lose that weight. Then NJ Diet uses DNA info to help you keep it off. Best of all, it's contractually guaranteed. You're fully supervised the entire time to make sure you're burning fat and not just losing water. And you even get the doctor's personal email and phone number, locations in King of Prussia, Cherry Hill, Princeton, and Newark, Delaware, or from home with live online video consultations. 855-5NJ-DIET or schedule your consult today at njdiet.com, njdiet.com.
There are over 10,000 reasons why steel is not sold at Lowe's or Home Depot. There are over 10,000 authorized local steel dealers. Find yours at steelusa.com. Lowe's and Home Depot are trademarks of their respective companies.
This is an important notice to consumers facing $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or other unsecured debt. You may not be required to pay it all back because there are special programs now in effect that will significantly reduce the amount you will owe if you qualify. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. These programs, which the credit card companies like to keep secret, exist to aid American consumers struggling with overwhelming credit card debt by offering tremendous savings and real debt relief. Accredited Debt Relief has established a special hotline for you to call and learn what savings you qualify for. They've helped qualify consumers with over $1 billion in debt and are A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. So don't wait. Get the relief you need during these hard economic times. For this free information, call the Accredited Debt Relief Hotline now. Call 800-873-7171. 800-873-7171. 800-873-7171.
What's up? This is will.i.am. I'm joining Stand Up to Cancer and Providence Health System to let you know if you're 45 and older, go get a colon cancer screening right now. Ask your doctor or go to providence.org/colon cancer to determine which screening option is right for you.
Hurts, gives it off, and keeps it, and rolls down to the 2, and is he in? Yes! He let it go, and it's intercepted. It's picked up by Josh Sweat. 15-10-5, touchdown, Josh Sweat! Deep down the far side, and it is A.J. Brown again! Another touchdown! He steps up, he's hit, he fumbles the football, but I think he has it. Nope. Now the Eagles have it! That'll be the game! He breaks away at the 35-30, 25-20, 15-10-5. Miles Sanders, touchdown! Wow. He is firing the football, and it is caught by DeVonta Smith! Great catch! Attention, air traffic control. A flock of Eagles is heading to Arizona.
Sweet memories. Last season was so much fun, and I believe this season will be even better. If you want your business to be part of this season's Eagles Radio Network highlight reel, email advertise@94wip.com for information. More great action is quickly approaching.
Phillies baseball is in full swing.
It's a 3-run home run for Alec Bohm.
And a 6 RBI night.
With the free Odyssey app, local fans can listen live all summer long, whether you're at the grill or at the pool.
The ball bobbled. The Phillies win. Bryson Stott has won it.
Phillies baseball. Phillies announcers. Streaming live on the free Odyssey app. AUDACY. Get in the game and download it today.
This is Larry Steinhaus of Investor Schooling. I am so proud to announce the continuing success of our students at Investor Schooling. You already know that at Investor Schooling, we teach real estate investing and stock options. Did you also know that we teach things about tax savings, estate planning, and business coaching as well? We teach things about money I bet you never knew. At Investor Schooling, we teach from the perspective of true experience. If you want to see what our students think about Investor Schooling, please check out the over 160 5-star Google reviews. To find out more about how you can change your financial life, go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829, and you can attend a complimentary class this Thursday at 7 p.m. Attend that class and see for yourself what Investor Schooling is all about. Go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829. We can't wait to see you this Thursday.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
Smoke in the air from Canadian wildfires is expected to linger in the region over the next few days. A gunman who killed a man outside of Pat Steaks in South Philly 2 years ago is sentenced to at least 3.5 years in prison. A Philadelphia city councilman offers legislation aimed at stopping stunt drivers from taking over city streets.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
Hey, Mount Laurel. We know your favorite station is WPHT. Tell your smart speaker to play 1210 WPHT.
It's Kayal Company, 9:39 Thursday morning. As we head till 10 o'clock, so much good stuff today. If you missed any of it, go back, hit up the Odyssey app. Watch the full show again on YouTube. And if you've been here for all 3 hours and 39 minutes and you want to watch it again, go back and watch it a second time.
Love it.
Now, I've watched Jaws 842 times.
Yeah.
I mean, you can watch Kayal and Company twice.
Is that the movie you've seen the most in your lifetime?
It's got to be either Jaws, Rocky, The Godfather, or Home Alone.
Okay.
Probably one of those four.
Back to the Future for me.
Back to the Future?
Dawn, what's the movie you've seen the most?
The movie I've seen the most.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the
I
spot
know.
here.
I'm sorry.
My lord.
It has to be.
Really pisses me off.
I know. I can't think of which movie I've seen the most. I'm just trying to think over the years. Probably Bruce Willis, the Christmas movie.
Oh.
As we call
played,
it.
Die Hard.
Played.
Yeah.
Well
Probably
played.
Die Hard.
Okay.
It's the movie we've seen the most. And we're now, so what we're doing with our teenagers is we're saying, you never saw this movie? Because you forget,
Mhm.
the movies that we've experienced.
Oh, yeah.
And they're old enough now to see a lot of these different movies. So we're
Very
like,
true.
oh, you got to see, what was it, Good Will Hunting. We watched the other. So we're rewatching what we consider to be the classics.
If you're watching right now on YouTube, youtube.com/@1210WPHT, just hit your put your answer of what movie you see the most in the comments section.
Yep.
Peter S. says Ghostbusters.
Yeah, it's up there. It was on yesterday.
Wicked Storm, The Blues Brothers.
Blues Brothers.
Yeah. We've reviewed those. Roadhouse is another one.
Oh, yes.
Because I live in a house of guys, Roadhouse.
Mhm. Stripes.
Stripes is a great one, yeah.
Yeah. All right, 9:41 Thursday morning. It's time for round 2 of What's
Wait,
on the...
hang on.
Oh, no.
What?
Oh, no, he's not ready.
I am ready.
All right, here we go. What's on the cut sheet?
What's on the cut sheet?
Part 2. Oh, what's on the cut sheet? Part 2 on this Thursday is sponsored by Holland Floor Covering. Holland Floor Covering is the region's premier flooring dealer. Family operated for over 50 years, providing exceptional service and professional installation. And visit their 2 showrooms in Wayne and Newtown. No charge samples, no obligation estimates. Learn more at hollandfloor.com. That's HOLLAND floor.com. hollandfloor.com. Check them out. Tell them you heard about it on Kayal and Company, 1210 WPHT. By the way, this is a good time to say any sponsor you hear on this radio station, any sponsor, whether it's a recorded spot or it's Nick, Dawn, myself, Rich, Dom doing a live spot, patronize them.
Yeah.
They're sticking their neck out on the line to advertise on this radio station. And we love them for that. Even if you don't need flooring, you know what I mean? Just call up or
just say thank you.
Contact Holland Floor Covering and say, hey, you know what? I heard about you on 1210 WPHT, and I just want to thank you for what you guys do.
Yeah, I mean, go get a minivan from Piazza like I did. Say thank you, Piazza Auto Group.
Go place some bets on the horses. Kind of parks.
Especially the ones that are in their prime still.
Stop. You can see horses in their prime and those that want to be adopted.
I'm telling you, it doesn't matter how many times I hear that word prime. For the rest of my life, I will think of Don Lemon and Nikki Haley.
Yep.
So true.
Some movies that we've said about what they've seen the most: Animal House, A Christmas Story, There's Something About Mary, Scarface, Star Wars.
Yep.
Oh yeah, Empire Strikes Back might be up there with me.
Okay.
Might rival Back to the Future. Trading Places, My Cousin Vinny, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Princess Bride, Jaws.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't say Jaws.
I did say Jaws, didn't I?
Oh, did you?
I think that was the one I led with.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I forget.
Meatballs.
It was 4 minutes ago. I forgot.
Christmas Vacation, Three Amigos.
Yeah.
Christmas Vacation is another one that I've seen. All right. What people actually care about. Let's go to KJP. Let's start with, I'm going to start with cut 4 here, Daniel. KJP on, we talk about this all the time about prices in the grocery store. They're, through the roof.
Of course.
Apparently it's slowing down now. But the reason the grocery prices rose.
Racism.
Well, I guess you could go that. Poor weather.
Oh, poor weather.
Poor weather.
Okay, so not Trump's fault, not racism, but poor weather.
All kinds of global supply chain and poor weather.
Okay.
Today, the Council of Economic Advisors released a blog showing grocery inflation is indeed slowing, with prices of eggs and produce such as vegetables and fruit falling in recent months. As you know, grocery prices rose because of the global supply chain bottleneck and unforeseen supply shocks like avian flu and war in Ukraine, and also poor weather.
Wow.
We haven't had rain in 3.5 weeks, so if you've been wondering why your milk went up 12 cents a gallon, blame it on the lack of rain.
Yeah.
Good God. I've never seen an administration that can deflect and defer blame to 14 other entities or individuals that have nothing to really do with the actual root cause of the problem. This is actually a master class in deflection. We mock them, but I don't know, maybe it is brilliant.
Luckily, Kamala is going down to the border, right, to get to the root cause of that. Didn't we hear that?
No, she's fighting with like the spacecraft and UFOs and artificial intelligence these days.
Is she?
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to play something there, but I can't find it. There's too many pages. There's too many pages on. Okay.
What?
No, there's just. I bring it. What? I bring it.
That was good.
Why did you?
My new stalker.
Why did you isolate that? Okay.
By the way, Governor Phil Murphy, you can't have a barbecue or any outdoor fires in New Jersey.
What?
Mm-hmm. Can Rich Cioli fire up his brick pizza oven, the Italian brick pizza oven in his backyard?
I could go for that right now.
Wait. So if you want to grill outside in New Jersey this weekend, you're not allowed to?
There are all these new rules, and it's looking like they are frowning upon this, and you could face up to a $5,000 fine.
You know what? I need everybody in this listening audience that lives in New Jersey, whether you've got a gas grill, a charcoal grill, a George Foreman grill, I don't care what kind of grill it is. Take that sucker on your deck and have the barbecue of your lifetime.
Oh, my God.
It's really confusing, too. They have stage 2 and 3 restrictions and all this and that. And people online are saying, wait a minute, can I have this? Can I have that? But ultimately, if you mess up and then the barbecue warden police come out and find you, you could face up to a $5,000 fine.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Who's enforcing that, by the way? Barbecue police here.
It's the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection, among others.
Sergeant Brisket here.
You know what, though, I'm waiting for, seriously, with Sergeant Brisket?
Yeah.
He's going to be at the Governor Murphy news conference. You know how Governor Murphy always, he really wanted to be a meteorologist. He thinks he's like, whenever there's weather, he wants to talk. How much you want to bet he's going to hold a big news conference with Nick Kayal, Sergeant Brisket, or whatever, and Pat Callahan, and so on. And he's going to have a big news conference today. How much you want to bet? To clarify, New Jersey.
Wow. Yeah. If you're listening in this listening area in South Jersey, go out and fire up that grill. Even if you don't use it, just fire it up just to have it going. Yeah. Can you imagine? Oh God, New Jersey. What a state that is.
What a time to be alive.
What a time to be alive is correct.
All right.
A reporter asked KJP about apparently nearly 50% of retail workers are afraid to go to work. How come the problem, meaning the problem of crime, has become so pervasive under the Biden administration's tenure, was the question.
So Walgreens unveiled a new look for their stores. They unveiled that in Chicago, and it has basically everything locked up, in part because of the theft that they've seen. Recent study shows that 50% of retail workers have seen some sort of retail theft, and another nearly 50% are afraid to go to work. So is the president aware of retail theft, and how come the problems become so pervasive under his tenure?
So look, what I can tell you is, unlike congressional Republicans, the president has taken action. He has taken action to deal with the crime, hiring police officers. You've seen that from his actions that he's taken to cut crime. And and it started with the American Rescue Plan. The American Rescue Plan had billions of dollars that went into communities to hire police officers, to make sure that we had accountability as well on the ground. And let's not forget his Safer American Plan to fund the police and invest in crime prevention. So we have taken actions. We have made sure that we do everything that we can to try and protect communities and to make sure that police officers are hired.
Why has crime become so pervasive? The answer is very simple. This administration, along with the George Soroses of the world, do not want to prosecute crime. This is like a legal system, reparation system that we're living through. Like if you are a minority or any person that's been done wrong generations ago and decades ago, you have like a get out of jail for free card.
Yeah.
It's basically what you have. All right.
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
It really is.
I'm still shocked about the fact that you can't grill this weekend.
Exactly.
And just wait. I'm just waiting for Pennsylvania.
Jersey,
yeah, that's New Jersey, but I'm just waiting for Philadelphia to come out and say the same. I know Philadelphia City Council is meeting today about budget issues, so I'm waiting for it. I'm just waiting.
Cyber Egg on YouTube says, make sure it's a big brisket so there's lots of smoke.
Exactly right. All right, 9:51 on this Thursday morning. Let's find out what is on tap for the Dawn Show. I guess there's going to be a lot of breaking news these next 2 hours.
Yeah, we do, and we're following all these the developing stories, but also some serious types of diseases we are now finding out are being carried by thousands of Philadelphians. Man, I'm trying to find good news, and every time I look toward health stories or whatever, there's just, I know, it's just, and we have tick news, bug news, disease news. Yeah, ticks. That's the latest, what they're carrying. Oh, my goodness. It's really craziness. But we have a lot of announcements, news conferences being planned. We have a great guest as we talk about Moms for Liberty, and obviously the big convention this year's in Philadelphia. Another attempt by another group to really demonize these everyday moms and their group from meeting. So we have more protests involving that. And we're going to cover minute by minute all the closures. We're hearing about school activities, what's being canceled. So we got it all covered.
All right, thank you very much, Dawn. Just a reminder now, through July 5th, eligible military members and spouses can save $1,000 with the lease or purchase of a new Honda. Visit Piazza Honda of Philadelphia, Langhorne, Pottstown, Reading, Springfield, or piazzahonda.com. Thank you for your service, that courtesy of the Piazza Auto Group. As we wrap it up here on a Thursday with Who Won Twitter Today.
Who won Twitter?
So I got to give it to Sid, our buddy Sid Weiss. Dawn this morning, early morning, tweeted out a picture of the skyline of Philadelphia, saying, she said, smoky peach skies over Philadelphia, hazardous air quality alerts due to 400-plus Canadian wildfires. Sid replied and said, smoky peach skies was my Allman Brothers tribute band in high school. Sid Weiss wins Twitter.
Good job,
All right,
Sid.
nice work out of Sid. That'll do it for us on this Thursday. The Dawn Show is coming up at 10, but first, Dawn Stensland with another word.
Yeah, because the Pennsylvania